Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Hi. Hi, Sketch. Oh, you finished it. That's awesome. Hello. Hello. How'd it turn out? Feel free to post it in the Discord, too. Hey, Guy. How you doing? Wash it and block it. What does blocking mean? Is that where you kind of rough it up so it gets softer? I don't know what blocking is. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Is the music too loud? Am I too loud? Is anything wrong? You wet it and then shape it. How do you shape a scarf? Whoa. Hey, Alex, how are you? I'm gonna probably have to start calling you Kinetic or Pop or something, because we've got like 3 Alexes that come and go. So I'm gonna start calling people by their usernames if possible. Hi, Crickens! You wash it next time, it'll return to that shape. Cool! I didn't know it does that. That's really neat. When you say shape it though, like what do you mean? There's a million of us. I'm an Ashley, so I know how you feel. Natural fibers, when they soak, bloom. Oh. That's so cool! I didn't know it does that. Bloom. I like that. I like that wool blooms. Is that the technical term, bloom? Alright, since you guys are here early, or should I say on time, you're here when you should be. So because of that, I'm gonna go through the cards we've done thus far, and then I'll show what we're gonna be doing today. What are we gonna be doing? Well, we're gonna be doing this. Hold on, let me get this next playlist up. If anybody knows how to play a YouTube playlist, not just a single video, but a playlist without ads, without buying YouTube, let me know. Bodhi! Oh my god! What time is it for you? Hi! Oh man. If it gets a little deformed from different tension, you can fix it at the same time to an extent. That's cool. If you add free heat and friction, the wool will felt. Hence why wool sweaters shrink in hot wash and dryer. I'll be damned. The things I'm learning in the first 5 minutes of my stream tonight. Shrink it. Hi, Danik! Happy holidays to you too. Thank you so much again, by the way. You did more than you know. Ad block? Ah, God. Okay. That's fine. But that stops the ads between the videos? I didn't know it did that too. Just midnight? Okay, cool. Late night at the studio. Late night. Oh, that's cute. Gabe and I are way off our sleep schedule right now. Like, super off. To the point I am embarrassed of it. I'm ashamed of it. Every time I tell somebody, they're like, oh, okay. Why? It's like when you start pulling late nights and you keep going later, it just happens, you know? So right now our bedtime is 4 a.m. It happens. So what we end up doing at some point is like a hard reset, we call it. And we'll just like load up on Benadryl and like just go to sleep when we feel tired that night, and then hopefully we wake up like, you know, normal hours, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, hopefully, you know. Anyway, is that too bad? Thank you for making me feel better. That helps. Belladonna, the most done in the hours after midnight. I know, and that's part of it. It's like I don't really want to go back to regular hours exactly. Like the sweet spot for us was like 2 to 3 a.m. And then it's like, it's not too late, you know, and we're still getting in those sweet hours where, you know, we can work really well. But like 4 a.m. is pushing it. You know, because then once you start hearing birds and seeing the sun a bit, you're like, maybe I should be a little bit worried, especially when you're older. You know, when you're past 30 and you're still staying up at 4 a.m., there's something, you know, people say with that. And then you tell them, oh, I'm just working the third shift, you know, as if somebody who was working the third shift would do. And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Except in the back of their mind, they're thinking like, yeah, except you have full control of when you go to bed. Why aren't you going to bed earlier? It does kind of suck when you have business calls, though, because you're always saying, well, can we do late afternoon? And then they're like, sure. You know, and they're like, when does that, you know, like 1 area? And it's like, yeah, 1. I've been up for like 15 minutes. Yeah, 1. Let's go with that. And it's embarrassing. So we're going to try to, I don't know, fix that a bit at some point. But it was going crazy just because I was doing so many Christmas Rush commissions. Oh my god. Patrons, anybody who gets physical items, I'm going to actually hold off on sending those out until the 26th because I just learned that USPS is like overwhelmed incredibly. Like the things I sent in the end of November still haven't gotten to like 8 people. So, and I've sent out other stuff since then and it's all like saying delayed and everything. Like I'm looking at my tracking number list of everything and just crying because it's like I rushed some of them. Some of the other ones that they didn't want rushed, but they knew they'd get it on time. It's like biting nails nervous. So I'm not going to overwhelm them any more than need be. And I'm going to send things out the 26th. Devoted Dandikin, yours will be a little bit later like usual. But, you know, hopefully they're worth the wait. But Curious Collectors, it'll probably be 26th. Because like I said, I love the USPS. I don't want to hurt them any more than I have to. Hi, Cavendish! Oh, and don't forget, the 25th. I don't know what day that is. I think it's Friday. Yeah, I think it's Friday, because I was like, why couldn't it be on Saturday, my regular stream day? Anyway, we're going to do another quick draw. This time, I got smart, and I made a form. Yeah, for everybody to fill out. So instead of doing all the crazy back and forth of the crap I used to do, I've made it really easy for you. It's basically you fill out this form on my website, you hit submit, gives me all the info, puts it in a spreadsheet even for me. So cool. And then you just PayPal or even use Twitch bids. It's up to you. So that's nice. That'll be a good, cool thing to do that day. But yeah, if you have nowhere to be Christmas Day, and I've always honestly not been a Christmas Day person. My family, aside from being non-religious, they weren't at all. But we did like Christmas. But we would always do everything on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day was just kind of it was a wash. It's like nothing happens Christmas Day. And it's kind of lame. It's like that anticlimactic letdown, you know? At least for us. I don't know. So I like to do something more fun on Christmas Day now that I'm older, just so I can kind of amp myself up for some reason, you know? Because otherwise it's just a little blah. So if you're not doing anything, come and watch us do really quick art. It's really fun. We do commissions live, so you can see how that process works too. If you're not used to doing commissions, you've never done them before, you're interested in doing them, you want to see what goes into that, we kind of do a streamlined, fast forward version of it, I guess. Well deformed, heat and friction. I'm 40, but that's just the time I think is best. Yeah, right? I also do wake my kids up at 8 a.m. and start my day. Do you really, Belladonna? Wow. So how do you just not get very much sleep, or do you take a nap sometime in the day? How do you do that? Oh, good, Cavendish. Which thing? The thing with both of our quick draws? Yeah, it probably took a while. I'm sorry for that. Winding a urine ball. Alright, so let's get to it. This was the High Priestess card. We did this on stream too, so if anybody's interested in seeing this, you can either watch it on Twitch or you can go to my YouTube See it there? This was done from pencils to what you see now. And then we've got, this was the first one, which now I'm thinking is a little lackluster in comparison to all the other ones that have backgrounds. But the full card was basically this. And all the banners will look like this at the bottom. I just haven't been doing them on the pieces. I'm going to do them separately. After I did this one, I was like, yeah, I want the ability to kind of move it around or put it above or below things. This was the Lovers card. It's got cherries and snails, and it's not done. Don't forget, I got to do this. I might do that today. I don't know. We'll see how today goes. But snail procreation is serious business. Google it if you want to know. Don't blame me for what you see. It's intense. This is the back of the cards. I'm not making a tarot deck per se. Right now I'm just doing like a small, I'm lying to myself really, a small project of doing little chunks of the major arcana as bookmarks. If I end up making a deck out of it, cool. If I don't, then I made some bookmarks, right? So I'm doing baby steps here. I'm not just saying, yeah, I'm gonna do the full deck, yeah, man, blah, blah, blah. I don't have that kind of time right now. So I'm just at least once every 1 or 2 weeks, I'm trying to get a card done. I'm not making it crazy right now because I still got 40 some commissions I gotta finish. So I'm doing what I can. This one has a moon, a sun, and all 4 of the seasons on it. And then in the middle here, it's got a bird family throughout the seasons too. So I thought that'd be a nice little, you know, like story and narrative on the back of all the cards. And it feels kind of tarot-esque because of the design elements, but it's a little surreal and it's a little, you know, mystical. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it. But Serenity, 32 months. Dude, you are nutty. Thank you. Love you, Serenity. Love you. So yeah, that's the back of the cards. And then here we are today. This is the Hermit card. And I wanted to originally do it as a porcupine, but I'm going to save the porcupine, I think, for strength. The tarot book I have that was done by Kim Arnold, very good, comprehensive background to all of them, says all the like imagery that each one typically has, you know, what each card kind of symbolizes, non-reversed and reversed. So I like to look at all those traits and see if I can match it with an animal that would make sense. And originally I just wanted to see this as a porcupine, selfishly. I was trying to wedge it in there in my mind, and I'm like, no, this isn't gonna work. I love porcupines. They're like tied for my favorite animal with a beaver. But the Hermit is a turtle. It just makes sense with all the attributes they have. So I was like, all right, I give up. It's the turtle. So we're gonna do that. I will go over a little bit of my process for this. I also did a survey recently on Patreon for my patrons. So if you didn't see that and you're one of my patrons, please go check it out. It's a way for you to give me some feedback about the rewards, the digital ones specifically, going into the next year. I do plan on doing more tutorials and things like that. But for right now, all I can really afford to do time-wise is do a bunch of, like, process gifts. So, Belladonna, thank you! You guys, I love Twitch bits. Thank you so much. Oh, I feel like they've just fallen off the wagon for, you know, being around. And I feel like no one uses them anymore, but Belladonna did. Thank you, Belladonna. So, I will, at some point, be doing more comprehensive tutorials. The only thing that's weird about tutorials, though, is I kind of do the same thing over and over and over again. So it's like if I do one tutorial, like, on how I do these, that's it. That's how I do those. It's like, if that's kind of how I mainly do those, I have to wait till I do, like, a watercolor or something, then show you how to do that. But then it's like, I usually do that watercolor that way every time, so, you know. Sketch, thank you! Hype train. Oh, you guys. Oh. Shared rewards to 3 others. Oh, that's great. I didn't know you could do that. That's super cool. That alert box sounds really loud. Is it really loud? Oh my god. I forgot they do that special Christmas thing during this time. Yeah, Crickens, if you think of anything at any time, even if it's like 2, 3 weeks, months from now, whatever, just shoot me a thing and be like, yeah, I thought it'd be cool to see this. The other problem that's super frustrating is like, I've done a tutorial on how to do my pet and armor portraits, and I did that, it's gonna sound bad, but probably about a year ago. How often do I repost that? You know, like, for the people who haven't seen it, I have already done it. Should I just, like, every quarter or something do I post it? Or I don't know when to post it. Like, how often? Trigger the hype train. It's got 4 minutes left. I don't even know what that... I haven't even seen that. That's new. To get to the next level. Thank you! Oh, you guys. There's a little bar on my thing. I've never seen this before. Man, I'm starting to already fall behind on Twitch. Oh, Wade! Wade's here! Hi, Wade! Elvin Panther, hi! Snail procreation, yeah. Yeah, you Google snail sex? It's intense. They're all over each other, like high school style. It's crazy. Start thinking about a commission. I want to wait until you're at least under control of the backlog. So, for anybody who does want a commission, like Danik, here's some extra info on that. If you want to pay over time for a commission, you can do that through my Patreon, and then when you're paid off, that's when you go into the queue. So I have a backlog. It is under control. It's just because of COVID, I'm only doing about 1 or 2 a week, and those are the big ones. So, Amy! Amy's here! Hi, Amy! Yay! Oh, you guys! Oh my god! Hype train! Wow! I haven't seen this before. That's such a cute animation. Wade, thank you! Oh, you guys. Oh, man. I love you guys so much. That's so nice of you. Oh, man. You guys and your subs. Thanks for gifting everybody one. Wow. Danik, you are so sweet. Thanks for helping everybody. Thank you. Yeah, this thing is blowing up. I haven't seen half the things it's showing me right now. I think they have the dart things. I don't know. For snails, it's in their face. Like, their cheeks have their sex organs. Anyway, this is a weird mix of, like, thank yous and snail sex. Anyway, you can look it up. Thank you guys so much. Has the hype train always been around? Like, how does that work? I just haven't seen this bar before. We're at level 3 hype train, 4 minutes left, 52%. I don't know what all that means, but thank you all. Thank you, thank you. I am Wade. I am streaming live. Oh, bye, Alex. Thanks for coming. Kinetic Pop. Thank you for coming. We miss you. Small things like Color Theory of Blues. So I was going to save those for YouTube videos, which honestly I should just start doing soon anyway. Just like after my stream someday, just be like, alright, I'm just going to go right into doing a tutorial video and just do that and then throw it at you guys. Wait, thank you. Damn. Botched. Hey, Dennis. Howdy. Hey, howdy. That's so weird. Ugh. Computer speak. You all are so nice. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. It has been a rough year, has it not? What's the best thing that happened to you this year? I'm probably going to ask this again New Year's Eve when we have our special stream, but so far, because there's still time, you know. Thank you, Danik and Belladonna. You guys. Do you see the hype train thing too? Is that there for you guys, or is that just for me? That's so crazy. Oh, you're all so sweet. Thank you. Papa tested negative. Those are good top things. Those are definitely good top things. Oh, everybody sees it? Okay. Thank you, Botched, Mr. Dennis. So, I wanted to show you my process really quick, since you're here, for how I went about doing this turtle. Belladonna, thank you for more. You guys, you don't have to do it. Oh. You bought a house and are in love with it. Homie, that is so cool. Seriously, buying a house is such a big deal. And the fact you're in love with it, extra bonus. Serious. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, Wade. Don't do a level 4. You don't need to. You guys. Oh, you're so sweet. That's right. And Kristen, you got your dream home too. Adorable kittens. I'm so happy for you guys. It's like the data, the one I have on your fridge. You know, it's so funny about that, Botch, because I was doing this. I'm like, I turned to Gabe and I was saying, I have a thing with just putting candles on turtles. I don't know what the deal is with that. Jazzy, thank you. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, hi, Greg. How you doing? I'm so happy for those of you who got your dream homes. Tell me though, how was that process during COVID times? Like, did you have to do special things, or was it just seeing houses in masks? Was that basically it? Okay, so thank goodness for Clip Studio having this time-lapse option now, because now I can actually send my digital sketches to my patrons, which is super nice. So my patrons will get the full like time-lapse of this, because if I go into time-lapse and do export, you'll see the whole thing. So that's pretty cool. And all these cards I've done digitally first. I do them really rough in Clip Studio, then I go over them again using the stabilizer pen. And then after that, after I've done all the line work in here, and God, it kind of kills me because I really like the quality of the line work on here. But when I transfer it, you'll see what happens. It sucks because I can't really retain it when it goes to traditional. But I also added in these little runes on his outfit that mean like insight and intuition. Like it was the Dagaz rune. So I know I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. But there's a lot in here to unpack in terms of like how things are. And I love draping fabric on mystical beings and things. So I just kind of went ham on this one. And turtle toenails. Look them up. I found the cutest. I'm going to show you this too, because I can't help it. It's adorable. I found the cutest picture of turtle feet, or peats, as some of us call them. Peats. Turtle peats. I hope I still have it up. And I don't. Hold on. I'm going to have to turn down my brightness. You gotta see these. This is the cutest dang thing. Yes! I found him! Okay. This was the reference I used for his feet. I don't know if you can... Okay, so there's a little chunky one right there. A little chunky one. It looks like he's doing like a, you know. But it's, you can't really see much there, you know. Asthmatic, thank you! But this back one kills me. Cause look at these little nails. Look at those. Oh my gosh. I love them. They're so cute. If you look up like turtle feet. Thanks for the subs, y'all. Oh my god. What level are we on? Are we on level 4 complete? We're on level 5, yo! Jeez! You people are amazing. You've blown my mind today. Yes, transition, new beginnings. There we go. Oh, that fits totally, doesn't it, Sketch? For your situation, that works so well. But, like, look at those! Look at those! Look at all the rolls! It's like a hairless, hard bulldog. You know? Oh my god. Anyway, sorry. I'm just gushing over turtle feet. Oh, you guys. How loud is that? Is that really loud when that happens? I don't know why it's so loud. I turned it down too. This is my first hype train. I don't know why in like 5 years now? Is it 5 years? 4 years. 4 years. Not get ahead of myself. I've been streaming for 4 years. I haven't had a hype train before. What's up with that? This is crazy. It's true, Bodhi. Oh, we got more jazzies in here? How many jazzies we got? Do we got both jazzies? I'm good, Greg. How are you? How's your new job? Oh, masked realtor had a house disinfected as a move-in gift. A gift? It should be kind of required, don't you think? Being messy. Yeah, and I started adding the rune to other things too. I think I did it. I can't remember if I did it to the High Priestess or not, but I'm starting to put in little things like that. No time to explain. Tails. Oh, you can leave it at level 5. Seriously, don't go any higher than that. I don't even know if you get anything for that other than making me squeal. Which I guess that's kind of, you know. Oh, you get emotes. Oh, good. Sorry, Greg. I gave you Tails. Tails. Don't spend all your money right now. You guys save it. Save it for the Christmas Day stream if you can come. I would rather have you save it for then. Because I want you to get something. What? How'd you do that? Oh my god, 25? Kristen! Kristen! What are you doing? Stop! No! Oh my god, what? Oh my gosh. Y'all are crazy right now. Oh, and if anybody doesn't know that's interested, Midwest Fur Fest virtual con is going on right now. I had gone to it last year. God, that feels so far away now. It was a really nice con, good people, and they're doing it virtual this weekend, which I almost closed my store because I forgot it was happening this weekend. I'm like, I gotta close my store because otherwise if anybody buys anything, I'm gonna have to tell them, hey, it's probably not gonna be there, you know, by Christmas. What is that? Mush hug? Nush hug. Oh. I hate telling people that things aren't gonna be there by Christmas. That's one of the worst feelings ever. But I mean, it's not my fault. It's just, it's USPS, right? And they're doing their best. So, 117. Y'all are crazy. Just leave it there. You don't have to do anymore. That's crazy good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Prickly Badger. Oh, you guys are so nice. Thank you. Oh, you get little presents for how many subs you've gifted. That's cool. How cool is that? Oh, and then of course my message comes in instead of subscribing. It's okay. It's okay. That's on a timer. I have no control over that. Do not feel bad. I am very thankful. Thank you so much. I would like to do some more emotes, so at least those of you who subbed will have more to work with. I'll probably just throw some out. Okay, so we're gonna do this. So I told you that I lined it in Clip Studio. Yeah, Level 5, that's incredible. Oh, I got an emote. I got these. It's very cute. Choo choo choo. That's adorable. I don't know what it is though. What is it? Oh, and there's a lol frog. Oh my god. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, and there's a book. Oh, these are super thematic for me. Holy crap, I love it. Thank you all so much for giving me bits and subs. Thank you. Bless everybody. Thank you. Alright, so after I gotta try to stay on topic, otherwise I'll just keep thinking for hours. After I do the line work, I end up taking it into the computer. Sorry, I did it on the computer. I print it out from the computer at like 50% opacity, and then on the back of it, I block it in with some pencil. It's my brown pencil, because I want the line art to be brown, like in the end, so I do it the color I want it to be, right? Just in case. I end up going over it again, like solidly, to make this eventually, but then I go over it again. It was 50% opacity, and you can kind of see that in some areas where it's like super light. I decided not to, you know, line that in, but I trace it. So the only hard part about this transfer process is that, you know, when you trace things, they look super rigid and they look traced, right? Even if it's your own stuff. That's the weird thing. You have to figure out how to trace your own stuff for technically like a third time and not lose any of the life to it. So when I do this, I try to kind of think more just rigidly about it, just trace it to get it on here. And then this isn't what it looks like when you first trace this. When you first trace it, it actually looks like up here. And I didn't line this in because it's going to be in white. So this is what it actually looked like. So it's just light enough for you to see where it is, and it's easy to erase if need be. So then I had to go over it again, and this is where you can kind of inject the life back into it and do all your line weights and all that stuff. So it's a process, but I did it all today within like 2 hours. So it's, the longest part was doing the initial sketch and line work. And then after that, this part is kind of just whatever. To actually line it again was like 30 minutes. So, you know, I blocked it a bit. Anyway, here we are. Thanks for coming, Jazzy. Oh, it's so cute. In my chat sketch, you're red and Jazzy's green, so it's like you're both super Christmassy. Look at all the emotes that Greg has. Wow. Look at you. There's so many good ones. Alright. You both have blue hair. Cute. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Alright. And it also gives you a few chances to change things, you know? So as you're lining it, you technically have 3 times you can change your mind on something, which is pretty nice. So for areas that, like up here, that I'm gonna eventually do in like lighter colors, like this is gonna be white, basically. Just varying forms of white, kind of like I did on the candle, I think, for the moth. Yeah. So see how that kind of has different whites to it, right? We're going to do the same thing on this other candle. So yeah, I think candles might be a theme in here. I'm going to go for it. So because of that, I have this kneaded eraser, and I stopped using kneaded erasers for the most part. I only use them very sparingly now. The erasers I typically use are, okay. These are the main ones I have. I have a green one too that's between these two, but it's not here. I don't know where it is. But I usually have these. And you'd think this comes out black when you erase, but it doesn't. It's fine. But this is a sumo grip. This thing is awesome. It erases like anything. And it's technically like a mechanical pencil. Like you click it and it comes out and you push it. And anyway, that one's like that. This one's the next one down. It's just a push out one. So I have one for varying degrees of detail that I need to erase. This one's really nice. This one is a mono eraser, mono 0. This one's really nice if I need to like get in here, you know, and just in there. And then that green one I was talking about is kind of like between the smallest and the next biggest. But for tools, that's what I've got for there. I'll kind of talk about the tools as I'm going through them. But with the kneaded eraser, I only really use it, I warm it up first, but I only really use it to pick up pencil that I don't really want to be there. So like, you know, if I want to pick this up more, or if I wanted this to be lightened a bit, it's perfect for that because it just picks it up a little bit. And then I also use it for my pastel work because it's really nice, again, for blotting. I had a pastel breakthrough this weekend. I was working on the last Christmas commission, and I started using, and I could do a tutorial on this too, but it was big. It's the biggest thing I've ever done with marker and pastel. It was the 11 by 14, and I'll be posting that probably next week on my Instagram. But I had to figure out a way to get pastel over a big portion of it because I wanted a big like vignette, so it was dark in the corners because it was like a nighttime campfire scene. So I didn't want to use my pastel pencils because those kind of like colored pencils leave lines, right? So I got my regular pastels, the chalk ones, and I took a razor blade, I chopped them like where you get a little bit of dust, put it on a piece of paper, and I mixed like maybe 2 or 3 pastel colors that I wanted, took a makeup sponge, full coverage, right? And I blotted it to kind of mix it together, and then I went around the whole thing. Smooth. So smooth. And in the past I've used like paintbrushes and things like that. No. Because even the paintbrushes, like the little hairs, leave lines. You know, with pastel, it's like, come on, it's that delicate? That's stupid. Anyway, so I started using the makeup sponge and it worked great. So I'm gonna probably use that forever now, and I'll do like a tutorial on that at some point as well. I'll probably give it to my patrons first, months in advance or whatever, but honestly, it pays to be a channel where people give subs and bits to the point after like 2 streams. All the LT emotes. Cool. Good for you. You guys have a lot of cute emotes. Oh my gosh. Oh, really, Danik? That's great. If they have any questions, I mean, I don't speak Japanese, but if you want to be a middleman, and I'll answer whatever they want to know. Etsy is really great, especially when you're starting. Hi, Pylon! Yeah, so the brushes I use when I'm doing, like, when I do my Fimo clay, I've done, I used to do, like, little miniatures with the polymer clay, and to shade that, you use pastels. And I would do that, the exact same thing. That's kind of where I got the idea. I stole it from myself, really. But I was like, if I can do this for, you know, polymer clay miniatures, why can't I do it for other things? So once I realized that the brushes don't work grand scale, I had to switch to the makeup sponge. So if you ever need to do that, you know, it hurts your hand. Oh, I'm sorry, Sketch. I'm surprised you can knit and crochet and things. Alright, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put in, I think, the bright of the candle, because I have this really hard time doing contrast. A lot of the time I'll do it too... It doesn't have enough contrast. A lot of the time, a lot of my work doesn't have enough contrast. And I know that's one of my weak points. I've been working on it. But one of the things I do to work on that, like if you are somebody who does art and your work doesn't have enough pop to it, like enough darks and enough lights, that contrast, you might need to go light and dark, like extremes first. I know usually the best idea is to go from light to dark. It's a really good way to do it, but you end up kind of muddying things depending on the medium. Okay, depending on the medium, totally medium dependent. But sometimes I'll do the lightest thing first and what I know is going to be the darkest thing. And then I can create the range easier. And then I know I'll have that pop for sure. You know? It's very scary though. It's always very, very scary. I mean, I like to tell myself I can always fix it in post. You tell yourself things to feel better, right? That's one of them. So, you know, you can give that a shot, but... Oh, I see, Sketch. Yeah. Oh, that's nice of them. Good work, Jazzy. So I'm gonna put this in first, because I think that's gonna be technically the hottest part. Alright. The only catch with this, though, is, since I'm a mixed media artist most of the time, I have to make sure I'm doing it in the right order, or else I can't go backwards. So I can't do marker over gel pen, or even colored pencil. It doesn't work like that. If I do like a dark marker over a white colored pencil, it looks like crap. If you want me to show you, I can, but it's horrible because the marker just goes through the grains, the graininess of the colored pencil. So bad. So bad. So I have to do things in a very specific order, and it did take a long time for me to figure that out, like what works and what doesn't. It is not an easy process. So I'm gonna have a tester on the side here to make sure. And now I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what part of this is gonna be the darkest part yet. I just know what parts are gonna be light. So I'm gonna do that first. Is anybody else horrible at gift giving? Like you buy gifts for someone and then you end up just giving them to them? Gabe and I are horrible at it. Like, you know, one of the gifts would come in the mail and I'd just be like, you want your Christmas gift now? He'd be like, yeah. Like, we're really bad at it. I mean, he does the same for me too. It's just, it's so bad. I think we're both impatient and I don't know. I don't know if there's really a point for us to kind of wait till Christmas to show each other, because I mean, I don't know. We also buy things for each other all year round, so I guess it's nothing too strange, too out of the ordinary. Yeah, Elven Panther, right? It's like, well, you're here. You know, this is already technically wrapped. I mean, I don't have to rewrap it now, you know? So, here, this is yours. So, Sketch, if you ever do work with clay again, there is clay softener you can get. You probably knew this, but, especially if it's polymer clay. You can get clay softener, and it really does soften it up. But sometimes clay softener is like a double-edged sword, because sometimes you don't want it to be soft, but you need it to be for a bit. Then you gotta freeze the clay. I went on a polymer clay kick for like a couple of years back around 2014, somewhere in there, before I got crazy with commissions. I actually used to have hobbies. But I'll get back to that again someday. I had started a clay account, and I don't know, I'm just starting to start accounts for all the stuff that I want to do, just so I don't muddy up my one account. I think if you're serious about doing a lot of different things, if you want to get a more dedicated fan base, you're going to want to split all that up. Think about it like it's a business, because basically it is, but, you know, there's no guarantee that people that like this one thing are going to like the other thing you post. And to get a good, solid, you know, follower base, you want to make sure it's, like, you know, concentrated and dedicated, more or less. That's a smart way to do it. I've yet to do it to my art account. I've got plans set in stone that I want to do next year for my account. So there are going to be things that are splitting off. Because I've had my account since 2012. And I'm going to say I only have 7,000 followers. Which, yeah, to some of you, you're like, what? Blah, blah, blah. That's a lot. It is, but for how long I've been doing it, and the algorithms and stuff working against us, and just the fact that our art is kind of all over the place, we've learned that the key to actually, you know, getting that visibility and stuff is really to be doing the same thing on one account over and over and over again. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do the same thing over and over and over again. It just means that account is dedicated to that one thing over and over and over again. So if that's you and you want to gain that, you know, that base, and remember, followers aren't everything. But if you are an independent artist and you depend on that income, you might have to pull some strings to do some things to get it to work right. And that's one of them. So if you can have more of a dedicated account to one specific style or one medium, that's going to help you a lot more. Because being a mixed bag is going to attract mixed people, and then, you know, if you've got some people who are there that, you know, are only there for a certain thing and they never see it anymore, they're going to leave. You know, and rightfully so. I mean, I probably would too, but my nose is running. Anyway, now let me catch up in chat real quick. Christmas gifts last week. That's smart. Yeah, momentum's hard. It's true, Pylon. There you go, Sketch. It is. It's hard to stick with one sort of medium or style. So instead, since I do dabble around a lot, I'm not going to, you know, like for mine in particular, I'm going to see how it goes posting just like my happy stuff. So instead of like, for me, and you'll want to do this based however, you know, you do your stuff, but I find my stuff borders on like happy or dark. So those don't really have a, you know, an overlap really. So I figured my Cloverkin account will be more my happier stuff. And, you know, the other side will be darker stuff. And this is still, I'm not sure where it is. So I still have yet to figure that out. But I'm thinking that's how I'll do it. But I don't know yet. The weird thing is, I've been so busy, I can't even update the Instagram I have right now with all the stuff I've done. I'm doing about 12 ATCs a month on top of other things for my Patreon, and I have not even posted those for like the past 6 months. I posted one the other day, and I was like, yeah, I should probably do this, and I did. As you know, I have so many of these I can post, but I don't know. I always forget or something. There was this length of time when I got most of my followers where I was posting every day for like 3 years. So you can basically watch my entire growth to where I am now, even starting to use markers through my Instagram, which is kind of cool. I'm very thankful for that. And I think that's the cool part about social media, is you can kind of track your progress over time. But a lot has changed, you know? I kind of just lost my train of thought too because I started looking at this. But anyway, yeah. Like, posting your work on Instagram, it's you know, or anywhere, I guess. It's one hump to try to get over the anxiety of posting. Oh, and that's what I was doing. So I was trying to get over the anxiety of posting by posting every day. And I did that. And like I said, for like 3 years. And that consistency really built my exposure up, and people were seeing me and following me and all that stuff. And I've since stopped doing that because it was getting a little obsessive. Kind of like when you get obsessed doing anything. If you've ever been obsessed with working out, or, you know, just anything that's habit forming, you dread not doing it. And I started to get to that point, and I was like, that's not good. So I did a hard stop on that. And, you know, I started being more chill about when I posted. Because like I said, it was getting a little bit obsessive. Also, if anybody's interested in how I'm using reference, right now I've got this picture of this turtle that I showed you earlier. And I'm basically using this as kind of a full-blown reference for this. So where to shade things, like these lines between the, I don't know what they're called, plates? They're probably plates. In between the plates, like that's lighter than the plates themselves, like how each plate looks. He's kind of my go-to right now. Like, you know, is the leg darker or lighter than the shell? You know, how deep in does the leg go? I'm kind of looking at all that stuff, you know? So, you know, how light reflects off of the shell. So it's kind of cool when you can find a reference that answers a lot of the questions you have for what you're working on. But don't be afraid to use a lot of different references. And, like, you can use references for fantasy work. You can do things from your mind while still using reference. There's no shame in that. You're not cheating when you're using reference. I mean, unless you're directly copying it, that becomes a little bit of a gray area. Leveling up on digital art for the last 2 years, and just recently tried to do some traditional stuff and noticing my skills transferred automatically. Where things absolutely do not. So Cavendish, you're doing it in a really interesting way too, because usually what have I said in the past? All traditional skills basically translate to digital, but not all digital skills translate to traditional. So that's why people for a long time have been saying start with traditional, because everything you learn there is going to translate basically 100%. Digital to traditional is going to be a bit harder of a learning curve, because you basically have to unlearn some stuff, like the fact you don't have the undo button, things like that. So, I mean, if I had to give you any advice, I would say do more traditional than digital for now, until you can at least get used to drawing more and, you know, all that sort of thing. I just realized I look very small in my camera. I'm sorry. And I'm going hoarse all of a sudden. That's another thing about cons that's gonna suck when they start back up. I had done so many so often that I had, like, my voice had hardened to it, you know, so it was calloused and I was able to talk for 12 hours straight, right? So now, if I talk straight for a little while, it's gone. Like, I have to get back to that, so it's pretty tough. Oh, I get you, Sketch. Yeah, that's hard. The OCD thing. Should I post some of my work in progress pics instead of just making them a story. Yes. So you gotta remember that your stories on Instagram are seen by a very select few. Like, the fact that I have 7,000 followers doesn't really matter because only maybe 50 to 100 people sometimes see my Insta stories. So the things you really want people to see, like those work in progress shots or announcements and things, you will want to do them as posts. The other thing about that is that you can do a post, and if you're like, I don't want this to stay here forever, you can always archive it. And, you know, so like, let's say you release something, like a product, right? Don't put much text on your stuff. I actually stopped doing that because Instagram just shoots it down, like, by a crazy amount. So don't put text on stuff. But do a post, right? Do it at the peak time or whatever that you know your audience is. And then if you don't want it to like be muddying it up, or you think it won't affect things later on, or like, let's say it's a special deal for only a certain amount of time, so you don't want it up like a month after, right? Just archive it. So you can still use it to see like insights and analytics on it and stuff. If you delete it, you won't be able to see that. So just archive it later, and you can kind of clean up your Instagram that way. Because it's kind of like a impermanent way of hiding things, you know? Oh, the fill function. It takes a while to color things. Yeah. I could see where fill would kind of spoil you for sure. That's kind of funny. So for anybody that is starting off with traditional work, if I have one bit of advice I can offer that's probably the most important, I think. I mean, other than drawing a lot, that should be kind of an obvious one, but start small and cheap. Okay, so I've seen way too many people who think they have to buy the best tools, the best canvases, the best paints, the Cintiqs. Do not do that stuff right away. And like, let's say you're even starting to record things for YouTube or something. Do not buy the expensive equipment right away. Not just because you don't know if you'll stick with it, but you want to get used to it first, and you want to kind of earn the next level of that thing, right? So that's going to help you in the long run save money. It's going to really help you learn at a gradual pace, because if you buy something too expensive too quick, you may not know how to use it appropriately. It's like in a game. If you're level 5 and you get a level 50 sword, if they let you use it, let's say you wouldn't know how, right? You can't yet. You don't know how to use all the things it's got. If it's got all these buffs and all this stuff, you can't do it yet. Same thing. You want to level up to it. Plus, that's a lot more rewarding. If you're just getting all the best things right away, and let's say you end up liking oils more than watercolors and you spent like $300 on watercolor paints. That's not good, right? So always start small, and not only just with the products, but with the size you start with. Do not say, I'm going to start drawing and get a 24 by 36 sketch pad. No, don't do that. Don't do that at all. Start small. Start like 2 by 3, 4 by 6, 5 by 7, small stuff. Okay? Because the problem is you don't know yet what to do with all that space. Once you've worked smaller and you've made enough things over time, the more you fail, the better you're gonna retain learning over time, right? Instead of doing one giant thing where you learn a few things about that one thing, and you're not even used to how to, make a composition, you wasted all that time on that one piece. Instead, put all your time into making a bunch of little pieces, okay? Make those your studies. Make those things you can sell. Thank you for the follow, Commoner. But you want to pump out a lot of little things like ATCs, stuff like that. Little things. because they could be complete pieces. You're going to learn a lot quicker how to make a complete piece that's on something that small than on something huge. Then, one of the ways you'll know to level up what you're doing is you'll be going to the edges, right? Once you actually like block out where things go and you start, rendering it out, if you're going to the edges of the page, you might need to level up your size, right? If you're doing that pretty consistently, you could also be doing your compositions badly. You might need to just shrink what you're doing. But if you do feel like, yeah, this is just too small now, move up. You outgrow the paper, right, with your experience. There's no shame in that. That's the right way to do it instead of trying to do something really small on something huge, You want to go general to specific instead of specific to general. That doesn't work. It's like sculptors. They have a giant block of marble. Are they going to start, carving out the eye right away? No, they're going to take the whole shape, right? They're going to just start chipping away at it and make it more and more and more detailed. Think of drawing the same way. That'll help you a lot. And for my patrons that are going to be getting the time lapse of this, you'll see me do that. I've actually started doing it to the point that I understand how I'm working now. Took long enough, but this sketching I do, I actually feel like I'm carving it away now. And you can kind of see that where I'll sketch something, I'll erase away a little piece, I'll draw it in more, I'll erase it away, and it does feel like you're sculpting, like with pencil. It's crazy. It's a really weird feeling. Anyway, I'm ranting now. I don't know. But yeah, that's what sketchbooks should be for. Sketchbooks should be for exploring, failing, putting down ideas. They should be messy. They shouldn't be pretty. A lot of the times when you see like a sketchbook tour on YouTube, that is not what your sketchbook should look like, ultimately. Like, that is some higher level person that has a sketchbook for their pretty work after they've been inside their dirty sketchbook for a while. Of course, they're not going to show you their dirty sketchbook. Some people do. And I actually really respect those artists that show you their dirty sketchbook, because that's their ideas. That's their workshop. That's a lot more magical and enchanting than just seeing, this is the thing I've made. Look at it. It's wonderful. It's like, yeah, it's cool. I want to know how you got there. Show me how you got there. Yeah, but they never show you their messy sketchbook, and that bothers me. Like, I want to see their thought process. It's the same idea where teachers are like, show me your work with the math problems and stuff, And granted, some people can't do that as well, but yeah, I want to see the mess, man. Totally. I got a creaky chair. Sorry. Alright. If anybody has any questions on conventions, freelance life, independent life, shipping, anything, just throw out questions. I'm here for that. I mean, that's the whole point, I think, of doing like live videos, right? Is having that interaction. At some point I'll be doing YouTube videos, but like you can't really answer somebody as easily. I'll have to message them or comment back to them, or I don't know. I like Twitch for that, the intimate, like we're hanging out. I like that. And I do stream on Twitch typically every Saturday at 5 p.m. CST. But next week, since I'm doing the special stream on Christmas Day, which is the day before my would-be Saturday stream, we probably won't have that Saturday stream then. So that's next week. But the week after that, we should be okay. Wait, when is the New Year's Eve stream? A new crochet thingy? Heck yeah. I don't even know what day is what anymore. Okay, so the next stream's the 25th, and then a week later. Okay, so the next 2 weeks, the streams are going to be the day before. So they're going to be... Oh, wait. New Year's Eve is the 31st. That's Thursday. So it's going to be the 25th and the 31st, and then streams will resume normally. So the thing at the bottom here, this is going to happen on the 25th and the 31st. Our New Year's Eve stream is pretty fun because we go through the 4 US time zones and we celebrate for each time zone. So it's kind of fun. Waffle Stitch! Oh man! What's Waffle Stitch like? I suppose it looks like a waffle. Oh, good. I'd be so let down if it didn't. Is everybody on, like, was it Christmas break now? Does anybody have to work on Christmas? Man, this sounds as royalty free as it gets. I'm surprised I haven't had any ads yet. Is anybody else drawing? Waffle poncho! Oh, I'm wearing a poncho right now. It's got really cool fringe on the edges. I like it. Ponchos are great. I own like 4 ponchos. Oh man. They're so comfy. Thank you guys still for the hype train thing. That's so cool. Definitely the highlight of my week. I still don't know if I want this background to be dark or light. It'd make a lot more sense if it was dark, like if it was nighttime. But I had this whole kind of mythos behind this hermit, because the main things you gotta have for the hermit card are a lantern, a staff, typically it's an old man, and a cliff face, basically, like they're on a mountain. Those are the main things. And originally I had drawn it with a lantern. And I was like, man, I don't want the lantern to have that little of presence. I want the whole thing to be very lantern-centric, you know? So, at this point I feel like this is kind of tried and true for me, to have the animals carrying the candle. For those that have been following me for a while, you know, like, I have a thing for candles. I have a thing for everything. But on my Instagram, you go into my highlights. Highlights on my Instagram. There's a whole story you can read that I did as a one-shot. So once in a while, I'll kind of snap. And I'm getting to the point again. I have another idea for another one of these one-shot stories, but it's basically a story in a month, and I try to just not plan it. I start it, and then I go through the story and I stop it. And I usually post it on Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram on here, and then you go to my highlights and you go over, you'll see one that's got a candle and a mouse head. If you click that, that's my light mouse story, and the light mouse is a mouse that is in charge of a lighthouse, and the lighthouse is it's a mouse version, so it's a candle, but he's in charge of, you know, like maintaining this candle out in the middle of the ocean. So he's surrounded by all these other candles that he can pull up there once one's gone. You know, he's in charge of cleaning it up and all that sort of stuff. So you can read the whole story basically in here. And I don't know, like, I'm so story-based, and I haven't gotten any time to actually do the stories I want to do. So the most I can do is like little stories every now and then where I snap and it's like I have to tell a story. I've done that a few times. The other ones you can find under the daily story bits tag. But it's just... I really need more time. Like next year, I have to do better about not taking on so much work. And I think the reason I took on so much work was when I quit my... I was in games for like 10 years. And I quit being a game artist to, you know, do my stories. I wanted to do my stories full time. And I was really dumb because to do that, you have to be paid for the time that you would be doing that. And I didn't have any sort of anything set up for that. For those of you who have like kind of a part-time job and you're like, man, I can't wait to quit my part-time job to be a full-time artist. Man, you gotta grow that fan base first if you want to dive right into doing your own thing. Because if you don't have that in place, it's not going to happen right away. Because you're going to have to find a way to pay for your own time to do that. So that was my biggest mistake, I think. Granted, I kind of got thrown into quitting too. So it's a whole thing. Like, long story. But, you definitely have to, you know, have that in place before you leave. And in fact, if you can just get a part-time job that, you know, does pay for some of the stuff and most of the time you're doing your art, that's kind of a sweet spot. Like, Gabe and I might have to go back to doing that, but we kind of don't mind that because it's so much harder, especially now with the, I almost said plague, with the pandemic, to make money without cons, because we were con-based artists for the most part. Like, we'd go to conventions and, you know, we'd make enough money there for the next few months to hold us, and that's how we would pay for the time to do the things we need to do. Well, with those gone, it's been really difficult for a lot of artists. And, you know, thanks to the people here and my patrons, we've been staying above water. But next year we might have to do something. So I am dead set next year on getting my time back. That was actually the theme of my year this year, and I wasn't able to do it. I don't want to say I failed it, but I just wasn't able to do it. So that's what I'm gonna basically be focusing on trying to do next year. But if anybody has any questions on how to become like an independent artist, freelancer, feel free to ask. Because it's interesting. And I mean, everybody's journey is different, but it's hard. I'm in year 5, I guess, of doing it. I want to make my poncho, reason for poncho. I'm working on a book cover for one of my friends. Oh, that's cool, Cavendish. Heck yeah. Amy, your stamps are amazing, by the way. Gabe and I were kind of oogling that original you gave us. Your coverage on it, it's insane. I don't know what kind of stamps you're using or how your carving looks, but it's great. Can't stand drawing with something in my arm sometimes, so I figured poncho would be a fun way. Yeah, definitely. I can stick my arms out to draw. It's true. Hi, Blind Coyote. How you doing? Yeah, but you're super successful at it. You have a very good style. Selling the beer I take a bath in. Oh my god. DM, you could totally do that. Just because I know about the bathwater thing. I forgot her name, but I get what she's trying to do. She's crazy. She's trying to do other things now too, where it's just like, you know, to each your own. But for you to like play off of that in a parody way, I think you would make money just because it's a parody. I would give you money for that. That's funny. A food shop? No. I mean, make money how you can as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. Just make money however you can. It's tough times, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. Like, for real. Jeffrey, I thought was way too much. Okay, so Cavendish, that's a good question. So how do you start pricing your work? In my opinion, it's what you feel comfortable with mixed with the time spent on it. Typically, if you are going to make it into a business and you're going to report it on taxes, I think the threshold is if you make over $1,500, so like $1,500. If you make more than that in a year using your hobby, it's not a hobby anymore. It's considered secondary income. So then you have to get taxed on that. If you reach that threshold, that basically tells you you have to be at least charging $20 an hour for how much you're working on something, because you know half of that's basically going to get taken for taxes. Until you get up to that point, it's kind of whatever you feel comfortable with. I think in general, charging $20 an hour for a piece is a good starting point, you know, without taking into account, you know, materials and all that stuff. I feel like that comes into play later after you've figured out what your materials are. Like, once you really know yourself as an artist and you're like, I'm spending this much a month on this many pieces, I need to be reimbursed for that, you know, whatever, all that stuff. You can choose to include that, but also to, you know, factor in the taxes thing. Obviously, taxes, whatever. But when you're starting, it's really about what you feel comfortable with, what you feel it's worth. But you have to be a little bit competitive with everybody else that's got prices around you, because if you're lowballing it, you're just hurting other artists around you. Because it's not really about you, it's about the industry. So if you're saying, yeah, I just want like $5-10 an hour, like, this is why the Fiverr site was hurting people so bad, if you've heard of Fiverr. Because it was making art just seem so cheap, and anything that was above that looked insane. No, it's appropriately priced, you know, and everybody's going to be different, and, you know, depending on what, you know, they charge, people should respect that and not say, I'm not going to pay that, blah, blah, blah. I hear that all the time at cons, too. If you're at a convention and you go by an artist's table, do not say, that's too expensive, out loud. Or, I'm not going to pay that much for that. Do not do that. That is like etiquette 101. How rude. You would not believe how many people do this. Don't do it. Wait till you're like down the row or something and be like, hey, you remember that artist that did that one thing? If you need to say it at all, okay? Don't say it right in front of their table. We can hear you. Every time we can hear you. You're literally 3 feet away, maybe. Okay? It's terrible. So anyway, and F them, then it's not for them. If they don't want to pay what you're thinking is fair for you, it's not for them, okay? Remember that. Get hard about your stuff. Get confident about it. Be like, yeah, it's worth this. And because it's worth it, I'm worth it, all that stuff. If they don't want to pay it, you know, just, I don't know. You reach a point, too, with commissions and things where certain people kind of fall off and won't even ask you anymore. And in the beginning, I remember getting all these weird commission requests, like, yeah, I want this dragon riding a motorcycle, and I want him to have like a Big Mac, and I want this and this and this. And you're just like, okay, because you don't know how to say no, and B, you just want the experience at the time. You want them to tell their friends, whatever. Eventually, what happens is you're casting out a net, right? And then you're pulling it back in, and you're pulling in the types of people, and this is about growing a fan base, that will like your stuff and will appreciate it and pay for it, right? So you're just trying to find, your whole art career is trying to find your people. But to find your people, you need to have your art kind of established. So in the beginning of becoming an artist, you need to figure out what you want to do, right? So you need to kind of try everything. Try a bunch of mediums, try digital, try traditional, throw paint on something, like, go crazy trying to figure out what you like. Once you figure out like what you like to draw and with what, dig your heels into that and do that really hard, and, you know, make it look like all your stuff is kind of like that. You know, if that's what you really like doing, do it. And this is why I have such a problem with fan art, because a lot of the time people are doing it just because it's popular and not because they want to do it. They're hurting themselves. So only do the stuff that is true to you, and at first you're not going to get anybody. Okay? Like if you start streaming it, if you start an account about it, you're going to get maybe 1 or 2 likes, whatever. That's just starting anything. It's going to feel like you're failing. You're going to suck at it, and that's normal. That is so normal. You have to grow. You're not just going to get viral. That's like winning the jackpot. I knew somebody that went viral from a post that they did once. They got like 10,000 follows overnight, and then it just grew from there, and they just exploded, right? I kind of don't ever want that. I'd rather have that gradual lead up, if anything, because then it's like what I talked about earlier with art and starting small. Then you can actually feel what it's like to gain that experience and know how to use things, right? So when it comes to art, it's all over the place. Like, I'm sorry, I think I ranted for a little bit too long there. But you just, when it comes to pricing your own stuff, it's what's comfortable, what you feel you're worth, and the people that don't feel it's worth that, it's not for them, you know? Hopefully that helps. Is it an IPA? Wait. And if people do want to pay you more, this is honestly, if I had to say, one of the hardest things to get used to is the people that do want to pay you more. Like you guys giving me all those bits. I'm not going to say anything like, oh, I don't deserve this, oh, blah, 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 because you think I deserve that. That's another thing too. When you're talking about your art, don't ever downplay it or insult it to someone who says they like it. That's gonna make them feel terrible. I mean, if like, it's the same as if you compliment somebody like on their hair. Oh, your hair looks really good today. And they're like, oh, well, it's that day of the week, so, you know, it's not my hair washing day and it looks terrible and blah, blah. That person's gonna feel bad, you know? Or they're just gonna be like, well, I think it looks nice. But it's so much better if you just say thank you. At the very least, just say thank you. All right? Because that person just told you how they feel about it. And if it's a good thing, say thank you. If it's a bad thing, say okay. I got used to that too at conventions. That's been a weird one. There are people that will come up to you and say, I don't like that. And they'll look you in the eye and they'll just say, I don't like that one. And you have to figure out what to say to that. So practice that now. It's kind of fun, actually. Oh, cool. Kairoi, I want to see it. I want to take money for a book cover. It's going to be more than you make on selling the book. Cavendish, if they want to, though, if they like it that much and they feel you deserve it, just be gracious and take it. Honestly. I mean, if you want to fight them a little bit, you can, but if they keep insisting, just do it. I usually fight them back once, and if they keep going, I'm like, cool. You know? Different beers, different labels. Will you wear the label when you're bathing with that? You sure can, Sketch. If there are people out there that are quadriplegics, that paint with their tongue and their mouth and all that stuff, you can make it. Don't get sad about it. You just gotta do the work to figure out how to make it. But if they can do it, you can. Anybody can do it. Really. Like, there's nothing stopping you. Yeah, Kristen, I remember you talking, like we were talking about that at that one FairyCon where we met. Yeah, that's the other thing, correspondence. A lot of artists need to work on that. My problem with the up-and-coming artists of today is a lot of the time they're teens, they do a bunch of art, they get kind of popular on the internet, and they never have to go into the office atmosphere. I've known a handful of people like this. And they're great, you know, they're really good at internet correspondence with people on tweets and Instagram and all that stuff. They're great at it. And they can actually make a living off that. They know how to do that. But anytime they get approached for like a professional project, they drop the ball. They have no idea how to do professional correspondence, how to email appropriately. Like, they were never in an office setting, so they don't know that etiquette. And I do think being in that sort of vicinity for a little bit of time, so you at least know how to conduct yourself professionally, can give you that edge that a lot of freelance artists don't have. You know, that deadline mentality. All that kind of stuff is so important when everybody else isn't doing it, you know? If you can write a legible email that's really professional, has a beginning, middle, and end, good closure, all that kind of stuff, that's not emotionally written, that's another thing. Make sure to be able to separate your emotion from your facts when you're writing emails. It's so important. And a lot of, like, up-and-coming adults now don't have that. It's really weird. Gabe and I learned that probably, like, 3 years ago. Something like that. The past 5 years have felt like a decade to me. I don't even know why. Maybe it's because so much has happened, but oh my god. Exactly, Cavendish. Yeah, so don't crap on your own art. Gabe and I literally called it self-defecation instead of deprecation. We called it self-defecation because you're shitting on yourself, right? Don't do that. If anything, be the humble, gracious person that's like, thanks so much. You're going to make it. You're going to do the thing. It pays so much more to lift people up than to bring yourself down publicly. Oh, so bad. Like, if I'm following somebody that does that, I have to typically unfollow them. Especially if they have a huge following. I'm like, what are you doing? You're like playing the pity card and you have that many people that look up to you? Oh, like it's so ugly. Not good. Anyway. That's a fetish. Probably. Everything's a fetish to someone. That's how you gotta think of it. Sketch, you're totally capable. You're sitting there making scarves, you do tons of commissions, you post them in the Discord. You've shown how capable you are. You've proven it. So you sitting here saying I'm a lot less capable. Bullshit. You've proven you're capable. You don't even know it. Give yourself some, like, definite kudos right now. This is one of those times it's like, everybody stop. Think about what you've done either this past week, month, or year. Think of the things you've accomplished. I'm sure in some facet you've accomplished more in some area than you have ever before. Stop and give yourself a pat on the back for that. Some of us, including me, I'm horrible at this, never stop and actually say, hey, you've done a good job lately. Do you know that? Like, talk to yourself like you're not you. You know, what have you done lately? That's a lot of stuff. Be glad you were able to do that. That's awesome. You know, be genuine and nice to yourself because you've done a lot. You know, and I don't want to say, but I do want to say, but I don't want to say. That's more than a lot of people do. But sometimes you need that. You know, it is more than a lot of people do. Some people say they're going to do something, never do it. Okay? Think about the things you have said you've done, you were going to do, and you did them. That's cool. Like Sketch, you said you were going to make that scarf. You did it. That's something. That's more than a lot of people have done. Technically, that's more than I've done. I haven't knitted anything before. Hell, I've wanted to, but I've never. So you got me on that. Oh, thank you, Coyote. Thank you. Yeah, Fire Seal. No, don't, no. You are so busy. It looks like, at least from Gabe and my perspective, you've got your full-time job and you're doing your other thing. You, though, have gained, and honestly, I'm going to say Fire Seal has proven my theory about you do the same thing a bunch of times and you cater your Instagram to a certain thing and you're going to grow at some point exponentially. He's gotten up to like almost 30K followers this year. I think you started off this year at like, you were less than us. I remember, because I remember Gabe and I being like, yo, Fire Seal surpassed us. That's awesome. And like you started just shooting up at one point. And I remember that. I think that's awesome. And yeah, lift your friends up. And I'm still going to always pimp your work. You know, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't friends do that? That's the thing that always made me mad about if you had friends that grew past you and they never wanted to help you out again. Were they really your friends? You know, like, what kind of person does that? It's the whole, I got famous, so I'm not going to go back to my friends thing. No. And you're awesome. You're a good person. I love lifting up good people, whether they're famous, not famous, whatever. Lift each other up, man. What's the point of dragging each other down? Like, for real. Stop being a douche. Too many people out there are douches. You don't have to add to it. You know, be good to your people. And the people that follow you, they follow you because they like you, you know? But yeah, you guys should go follow Fire Seal. He's amazing. He's a good people. He's a good people. It's true, man. Pimp Buddy's art. I do it when I can. I think this past week I finally started leaning into my Instagram again. Because for a bit I got in the dumps about it, for real. I still kind of am, I'll be honest. It feels really crappy that, you know, you've been grinding at something for 8 years and it's not even, like, in your power to be growing or not, you know? Like the fact Instagram has its algorithms and everything that work against us. Like, so many people I know that have just started their art careers this year just took off, and I'm thinking, like, what is happening? Because Gabe and I have, like, these accounts that were made before, like, the first algorithm change. So that's got me all paranoid and thinking certain things, like, happened between then and now, and all kinds of junk. Oh, Sketch, you have friends. We're all your friends. There are different levels of friends. I learned that this year. I'm 34, almost 35. I learned there are different levels of friends this year. You can learn something when you're old. It's okay. But there are friends that are acquaintances. There are friends that are there to help you to the airport. And Gabe taught me this. There are really close friends that you may talk to every day, and that might be like 1 or 2 people, maybe. I think I have 2. And then you have friends that are online friends. You have real life friends that never even talk to you online. There are so many types of friends. You have friends. Always remember that. If any of you guys were in trouble and you needed someone and you couldn't find anybody and you thought of me, yeah, I'll be your friend. Like, what do you need? Yeah, and Dennis, you have a great Patreon because of it. Like, your Patreon's, like, successful. You have a ton of people on it. Well, and Coyote, your stuff is also, you're hitting a bunch of buttons. You've got your furry fan base, which is loyal and fierce. So they're going to spread your work. You have the added bonus that you do a lot of digital work that's beautiful, and in my opinion is like Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering quality looking. So you're hitting a bunch of, like, bells on that one. So, you know, even if it is niche, you've still got that furry fandom, and the furry fandom is fierce. So you're hitting pretty good. Mine's a little bit weirder. I'm like a neo spin on classic fairy tale art, which also has a niche kind of core group, but the demographic is typically a little older and isn't really tech based. So when I see these people in person, they flip out and they love it, but they can't figure out what Patreon is, or they don't know what it is. So that's why I found the past 3 years I've been doing cons is I have a fan base, they just aren't really tech savvy. So that's up to me to go to them in a lot of cases. Though there is another niche of my fan base too that's like my age, and they're basically like me. They're women my age that are into like pagan stuff and, you know, Norse mythology, and like there's a whole thing in there. That's another sweet spot. So I have like 2 niche places. Guys fit in there somewhere, but I don't know where the guys have come from. Like, Dennis, I don't know how you're here. Like, a few people, I'm like, I think it's so cool you like my work, but man, I don't get it. Like, how? What is it? I'm glad you're touched, Fire Seal. You earned it. You work every day. You post every day. You do really good. Now we gotta get you the store, and we gotta get that going. And you know Gabe and I are always here to help you with that. If you need it. If you want it. You know, Sketch, that's kind of life, though. I've had complete friend turnarounds every 5 years or so, where a whole friend group just dissolves. Like that friend group I was living with a while ago, they don't talk to me anymore. I mean, I've tried to talk to them a few times, it just doesn't... You keep trying to start that fire and it just doesn't catch, and you're like, alright. After a few times, it's like, They do come and go. Yeah, and as you get older, you just kind of roll with it, and you're like, alright. That's just how it's gonna be. There's a couple, like, honestly, Gabe's the only one that's stuck there my whole life. I've known Gabe since I was 16, 17, somewhere in there. And I've gone through 11 relationships in my friendship with Gabe, right? And he's been through one during that whole time. So it's like, when I was a teenager and now, I went through 11 relationships and various friendships and various friends and whatever. And he just went through one relationship, and he's had a good run of friends. Like, all the friends he's made along the way, basically he's still friends with. If I had to guess, it'd be like 60% of his friends he's kept through like 20 years. For me, it's just been him. And it's helpful that I guess they ended up dating him, but it's really weird. Sketch, then that's their problem. You wouldn't want them around anyway. If they have problems with that, they're not good for you. They're not good enough for you. You know, you deserve better than that. And you'll find people eventually who can deal with all those things, that don't think they're detriments or disabilities, and they'll love you for it. You know, regardless of those things. It's just like art. You have to find your people, and that takes a long time. You know, and especially to find a good one. Maybe you'll just end up with one really good friend, but they'll be worth dying for, you know? So don't give up hope. You'll find them someday. I guarantee you'll find them someday. Just don't give up. There are going to be a lot of people who have tried you, and they're like, nah, I don't want to deal with any of this. I mean, granted, I've even done that. I'm sure some of us have done that. Where it's like, you have to date your friends basically when you get older. You know, you'll meet someone new and you'll be like, oh yeah, this is great. Yeah, we're good friends. And then you're like, well, you find out a little bit more about them and you're like, well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. And then it's just, you know, the fire kind of burns out. I've had a few friendships like that the past couple years. It's like, you thought it was something else. It's not. That's okay. That's okay. You know, it's just better to kind of know that ahead of time. Don't waste people's time. Don't, you know, keep trying to make it happen, really. You know, everybody's got someone out there for them. Whether it's a friend or a love or whatever. You just gotta find them. And maybe that's the... maybe that's the reason for life. Is to find your people. That got deep. Sorry. Coloring a turtle. Talking about meaning of life. Yeah, Cavendish. Yeah. It is tough, Fire Seal. It's a totally different mindset too than just doing the art. Is the marketing side of things, the social side of things. Like, and then eventually you get to the point where it's like, okay, let's say you've got your store set up and your socials in place. Then you're like, I have to put myself out there somehow. Do I want to do YouTube videos? Do I want to stream on Twitch? Do I want to go to conventions? What type of person am I? The only way you really figure that out is by trying them all. I honestly didn't know I'd be so good at conventions. Not very humble sounding, okay. But I didn't know I was this extroverted because all my life I've been so introverted. But when I get into kind of an environment where I'm surrounded by the things I've made, and people tell me how they feel about them, and I get to tell them things, and we get to talk about it, it's fun. Like, it feels like you're having an art hangout or something, and everybody's just talking about what they're into, and you're kind of geeking out about the same things. Because the people that aren't into what they see at your convention table, they're not going to stop and talk to you, right? Or they'll just make a snide comment in passing, but that happens. But the people that like it immediately, you already have something in common. And usually they'll say something like, oh man, yeah, mice, I love mice. That's your jumping point. So when it comes to conventions, it really helps to have that jumping point. And you know, if you're a good kind of witty, clever talker, you know, quick talker, but not salesman-y. It's important to be like genuine. You want to always be genuine when you're talking to somebody, especially if it's about your art. Otherwise, it feels really weird. Like, Gabe and I know somebody that every time they're talked to about their work, they're like, yeah, and it's only, you know, $17.95, and if you get this, they go too hard into the salesman thing. If I have to give you any sort of advice on, you know, how to approach selling at a convention, it's to be genuine and to not try to sell anything. Really, unless they ask. If anything, just talk to people. Like, if they want to talk about a specific piece, cool. If they want to talk about, you know, something unrelated that's kind of thematic to what you're doing, cool. Just talk to people. Don't necessarily go, oh yeah, and you know, I've got this on sale today and blah blah blah, unless they ask. You know, they'll eventually ask. I mean, you can lead them to it and be like, well, I've been doing these mice things and blah blah blah, but don't sound like you're trying to get their money. Like, I have seen some desperate people at conventions that, like, lean over their table and say, I'll give you a discount. Like, man, what are you doing? No, that's ugly. Like, eek, ugh, don't do it. Just be genuine and talk to people. They're people, your people, talk. You know? Or, like, on Twitch, it's good to be able to talk to yourself. And that took me probably 3 or 4 years to finally get into knowing how to talk to no one. Like, to almost narrate what you're doing, because obviously at one point I had maybe one person in my stream at a time, and it's like, I don't know who they are, what do I do? You just start talking about what you're doing. That's the easiest thing to do. And if you're somebody who doesn't think you'll ever be able to talk like that, maybe do YouTube videos if you like having it scripted or like being able to edit it. Or don't do any of that stuff at all. Make tutorials if you want to kind of be behind the scenes. Like, there's something for everybody, whatever your personality is. Once again, it's finding out those things. So you have to try things to find it out. So that's kind of the sacrifice in you know, finding it. Sketch, the fact that they didn't want you was on them. It's not because of you. It's because, like, think about, like, if I had a kid for whatever reason, and I didn't want them for whatever reason, that'd be on me. That'd be my fault, not the kid's fault. So it's not your fault. They had something else that they deemed more important and whatever. It's not because of who you are or anything like that. Okay, you can't blame yourself for that. That was on them. That was their thing. The most you can do is just be like, that was their decision. I'm at least here now. I can do what I want to do. So I'm going to do it. And honestly, coming from somebody who has had not the best parents in the world, very much bad parents, I almost am glad I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. And I can have more time. Like, I've spun it. Originally, I was like, yeah, I'm, you know, sad I don't get holidays with a family that's a good family. No. Flip it. If it's never going to fix itself, look at the bright side of it. So I've been like, I have holidays free now. I can do whatever I want with that. And I chose to, and initially I would go to a nursing home, and I used to volunteer there. I used to work at them on the holidays specifically because y'all need to call your grandma. Okay? If she in a nursing home on Christmas and you have not called your grandma, you need to call your grandma. Because those people are always alone. Anyway, so instead you flip it and make something good out of it and try and go make someone else happy, or, you know, try to make money if you want to make money on those days. Do, you know, make a good thing out of it. Because what other choice do you have? You know, sitting there and being like, man, I can't, my family sucks and I can't do it. What's that gonna do? You know? Make it good. Toronto Wolf, thank you for the raid. And Ascend, thank you for the follow. Yeah, in Fire Seal, the fact you're like a weekend warrior like that, you're working on your art at the same time you're doing your full-time job, that is hard. I did that for a while too, and that is not easy. And yeah, you get burnt out. If you have a lunch break during the day, maybe do your personal stuff during the lunch break so you're not burnt out by the time you get home. I also did that for a while. That worked really well for me. But I mean, you know, once in a while, if I really wanted to work on something, I would take a day off and just go hard at it. Because to me, that my mental state shifted, and I wanted to work on my stuff more than I cared about my career. And that's on each person to do their own thing. If you want a career, you want that stability, stay doing that stuff. But if you eventually want to switch over, start, you know, changing your priorities a little bit. Yeah, that's no fun, Sketch. I don't blame you for thinking that's all shit. 'Cause it is. You got dealt a bad hand. You really did. But it's up to you to, you know, become a victim of that, or to, you know, and I know this sounds like bullshit, and it's not. It's just, and it's not flipping a switch either. It takes a long goddamn time to switch your brain into thinking something is good when it's not. It's not. You literally have to, you know, you really have to try to change. So it's not easy anything. There's no easy street for that. There's no button. It's hard work, and it'll come back and it'll haunt you sometimes, the times when you can't, you know. But I mean, everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through their trauma all the time. People are just either hiding it, dealing with it, whatever. As long as we can kind of approach each other with that kind of compassion and knowing everybody's going through something, I think it'll be better in the long run. But yeah, I feel terrible for your situation. It's never been easy for you. I feel you on that. But I'd rather not see you so upset about it. I want you to kind of get mad about it and grab it by the horns and say fuck you, and then, you know, become triumphant over it. That's what I think you're capable of. Uru vibe? I don't know what that is. Is that a D&D class? I'm guessing. It's just a turtle person, man. If I drew an owl that looked like a bear, somebody'd say it's an owl bear, but it could be something else. You know? I'm guessing that's a race and something, though. This is just a tarot card. The Mystics from Dark Crystal. Well, they're all based on something, right? I get a lot of people telling me that they get a Brian Froud vibe from my stuff, so I knew at least one person was eventually gonna say the Mystics from Dark Crystal, and I'm just gonna have to be like, cool, thank you. It's just a turtle, though. I'm doing a tarot deck sort of thing, and he's the Hermit card. I know, and I thank you for that. I do like being compared to Brian Froud. I'm a bit bitter because this year I was supposed to go and actually do a workshop with him, But COVID happened, so, you know. The turtle? Is that what we're going with? There's another turtle I've done, kind of in the same vein. I called him Tortu. It's pretty close. This one is manifesting some lettuce. This is an older print, though. I think it was like 2 years? Maybe 2 years? No, I forget. I forget when I did this. It doesn't even tell me when I like put up the print itself. That's silly. Oh. Serenity. Did they reschedule the event for you guys, or they didn't reschedule it? Because they don't know. I mean, for Americans to go over to England and hang out with the Frauds, like, they couldn't say a date really, so they have to wait, you know, till everything's kind of happened, which is really scary because all the money I put into that would have been really nice to have right now. Like, it could save us basically like 5 months of rent and stuff, so, and there's no refunds or anything, so that sucks. That really, really sucked. So I'm basically trusting that they're gonna stick to their, you know, their word, and then we'll eventually get to do it. But yeah, it's a whole thing. Is anybody else drawing or doing anything right now? What are you guys doing? I've actually been trying to stop saying you guys. I had heard that it has become more offensive, you know, since it's so masculine charged, that I've been trying to say you all or things like that, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I've been trying. Got too upset. I'm sorry if I was part of that sketch. That wasn't my intention, was to make you upset. I'm trying to light you up. I think because of who I am and how I was raised, I've got kind of this tough love thing where I like to light fires under people's asses. Oh, how's that going, Wade? What does it mean when you say Behance project? Like, did you get hired onto a project through Behance? And I don't know if it's Behance or Behance, man. I don't know. Behance. But what do you say really quickly, Sketch? Like, I've been trying to say, like, everyone, hey all, stuff like that. Like, if you're talking really quick, it's kind of hard to say all that. Peeps? That's good. That's a good one. Everyone becomes a marshmallow treat. Oh, really? I mean, I made one, but I guess I didn't even look at its terminology. I think I'm intimidated by that site a bit too much. I don't want to call, like what I'm doing right now, I don't consider this really a project. Like, but I could see them saying, oh, yeah, illustrations are projects, but I don't know, I think project. You know, like you talk about the beginning of a project, the planning of it, and all that crap. So I get like a little bit like, ooh. Like the site itself seems so serious, so I have a problem just throwing things on there. Oh, Serenity, are you sick again? No. Really, Wade? Yeah, I don't know. But I guess putting it up there is better than not having anything. One of those things. Yeah, Serenity, do you have COVID? It's true, yeah. I don't know how else to say it. Encouraging love. Like, I like to. Like, I don't mean that I'm, like, being abusive or anything. I just mean, like, I'm trying to encourage. I mean, I think I've proven I've cared to at least the people that I'm trying to light up that are here, because a lot of them are my regulars. And I mean, if I didn't care, man, I wouldn't be spending as much time as I do talking to the people I do. I do care. Yeah, isn't that funny, Wade? Like, it feels like so many of the things out there that are for artists still don't know what to do with the ones of us that are kind of like, we're in mass. Like, there's a lot of us that are doing kind of the same thing. We're like, you know, judge, jury, executioner, all that stuff for ourselves. So, like, the ones that aren't using these programs and things for getting jobs and all that, they seem to kind of trip, I guess. Oh, thank you, Benjamin. I do appreciate that. I think out of all the cards I've done this far, this one might actually be my favorite. This one I got to actually, like, sit down and love on for a while, which I have not had time to do that with anything lately. I mean, other than projects for other folks, which I definitely do still love on those. I make sure I care about the things I work on, whether it's for me or someone else. It's cold in this basement, man. It's cold. Overall, Twitch has made me a lot less defensive as a person too. Like, but that was a learning curve. Like, when I started Twitch, I was extremely defensive. And for some of you that were here, maybe you remember that. But over time, I learned how to diffuse it better. So There are still things once in a while that'll kind of irk me, but I think I'm getting better at, like I said, diffusing it when it happens. But it's done a lot of good for me, because it used to be a lot worse. Defensive how? Like, let's say I was doing something and someone comes in being a know-it-all or something and is like, oh, you should do that this way. Like, usually that would piss me off. Like, I don't enjoy the people coming in who, you know, either try to tell you how to do something and they don't know you. Like, for those that try to tell me to do something and they know me, that's different. I'm usually really receptive to that because I know you, you know, we've had time to talk, but somebody coming in saying that doesn't know my background or what I've done or anything like that, like, a lot of the time I'll get somebody who comes in who doesn't realize I've done digital art, like, all my life. They'll see me doing traditional and they'll be like, oh, digital's better for this, this, and this reason. And I oh man. They're like, you wouldn't know because you do traditional work or something like that. And I'll be holding on to dear life, trying not to yell at them. It's like, bro, I've spent my whole life on a computer doing digital work, working at mobile games. I went to school for 3D. I can do 3D work. You know, I've done it. I lived that whole life. This is different now. I mean, a lot of traditional artists still have to do digital stuff too, you know, for a lot of marketing and everything. Like, I know Photoshop like the back of my hand. I've been using it since I was 12. So, like, the people that just assume things or assume you haven't tried to do something or all this stuff drives me nuts. So, that's something when you become a streamer, you have to get used to a couple things. That, getting those know-it-all people coming in. You gotta get used to trolls, obviously. And you have to get used to repeating yourself. And that was probably on my top 3 things in life that enraged me pretty quickly. So I've gotten used to it now where repeating things isn't as bad. If you go to my beginning streams, like from 4 years ago, where I would go on this huge rant that I thought was so important and blah, 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 blah. And then the next stream, I would have to do it again. And I just got so mad. So eventually it wears you down into kind of this well-oiled machine, I guess. Oh, there's so many people like that. And, you know, they still do it. And you know, you just gotta get used to that. And then you get kind of fake people who pretend that they're, like, in your little regulars group of people on Twitch. It's like, no, homie, you can't just come in here after you've been gone for over a year pretending like, you know what's going on and you're my best friend. Like, you can't do that. You know, there are people in here who are literally in here every stream. And, you know, I've had some people even, like, demand that I do things for them because they're a regular or things like that. It's like, no. You are not a regular anymore. You were at one point. But it's like, I'm not just gonna bend to you. You know, you get those people that expect things. That's a hard one, too. A hard one to deal with. It's all part of the weirdness. And depending on what type of person you are, you know, everybody's going to deal with it differently. There are some people that kind of stuff just rolls off their back. And they don't even care about it. Doesn't really affect them. Those people are usually really good at social media. Like, they're really good at just dealing with difficult people. Or just not dealing with them. Like, some things someone says to me sometimes, well, you know, I'll think about it for a while. It'll kind of plague me a bit. It'll get to me. Stuff like that. Or, like, if I say something stupid on stream sometimes, I'll be like, man, you know, should I delete that stream or whatever? It's like, just let it be. You're a streamer. You're gonna say dumb shit. You know, you're gonna do dumb things. Especially if you stream a lot. Like, there was a time we were streaming up to 6 days a week. That was when we first started. We were really dumb. That was not smart. And it's like, you know, we got used to saying dumb stuff, but you just, I don't know. You do get accustomed to it, but it takes a bit. Yeah, people demand stuff. It's rude. I mean, but you're gonna get that. Anger streaming style. Wade, you're so good at having like the stream facade where you're just like, your emotion stays super like even keeled. Super jealous of that. I think part of the fun of watching me though is that I'm transparent as like I'm too honest, where a lot of the time I feel like if somebody is really paying attention and really knew me, they'd know when I'm kind of holding back on something or whatever, but for the most part I'm transparent as it gets. Well, Dennis, if next year you still need it, let me know. Because, I mean, I'm gonna probably have more free time next year. I've been here once before you did most asleep. Yeah! Oh, Benjamin! Yeah, that was a couple months ago. I remember you now. Yeah. That was part of a 3-print set. I still have to finish the last one. I haven't gotten around to it. I started this tarot thing and it just kind of took over. Yeah, Cavendish, you'd be surprised. Some people like think they've done more for you than they have. It's mind-boggling. Like, some people on Patreon too, like, they'll give you a ton of money just so they can kind of abuse you. I had a friend that had that happen to him, and I was like, holy shit. Luckily, I haven't had that, but she was telling me all about it. Like, this guy was demanding things. Like, he had given her $100 a month or something just so he could demand stuff. It was messed up. For me, though, it's usually been like, well, when I used to come here, we were doing this and blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, well, that was like a year ago. You haven't been here for a while, Transphobes, no. Oh, God. Sketch, just ban them. Insta-ban. What I've learned with Twitch is it's easier to insta-ban someone, and then if they actually feel remorseful or like, oh no, I said something wrong, they'll message you and be like, I'm so sorry, did I say something wrong? But most of the time, like 90% of the time, it was an actual troll. So I just ban without thinking about it now. And then if I end up getting like a message about it, I'll unban them. Because some people say some things they don't mean, but sometimes it comes out wrong. But the insta ban kind of protects you, especially if you don't have a mod right away. No! Mattress ads? No! This does not apply. Good, Sketch. That's another way to shut them up. But that's the sort of thing you have to get used to. Because let's say you had 100 people in your chat and somebody said that. You wouldn't have time for them. You wouldn't even have time technically to ban them. Ideally, what'll happen when you get enough people is they'll just attack that person. Or you get your buddy Jazzy to like mod it and kick that person out or something. Like, you just don't have time for that negativity and stuff, Oh, really, Wade? So once they got a little bit of responsibility, they bailed? That's pretty funny. I know, Benjamin, and I know you meant well. I know. I was in a really tender spot for a minute because Sketch and I were having a pretty good conversation about all that stuff. So I'm sorry for not exactly reacting the best way right away. I think I said what I didn't want and felt a different way. Like, I knew I was like, don't say that. But with artists in general, it's a very tender spot if they're doing original work and someone comes up and say, this reminds me of this. Typically that person has the best intentions. They're trying to tell you, hey, you know, your art is so reminiscent of this other person's art with me, and it resonates, and I think that's so cool. And that's what they mean. But what it comes out as, and what the artist typically reads it as, is, okay, so it's not original. Great. All this work I put into thinking about this thing and that thing and all the little details in the piece don't even matter, because you'd get lumped in with this one thing. So I recognize your intentions, and I recognize the thought, and that you meant it from a good place. But a lot of the time with artists, it's the same thing when you tell an artist, oh, you're so talented. I recognize that you're being very kind, and that's a compliment to you. And a lot of people would say, oh, you're being so nitpicky about this. Well, words have power, right? And we've learned that in the past couple years with how, you know, rights and all that stuff has occurred. So words have power. So saying skilled instead of talented. Next time you give an artist a compliment, instead of saying talented, say skilled. Because what that's going to do is actually make them know that you know they put time into that. You know, skilled means you spent time to gain these skills. It's not God-given. I wasn't this good or whatever like a year ago. Like, I've done nothing but this for 20 plus years, you know? So talented usually says it's God-given, it's effortless, you know, all that stuff. So it's one of those things. So both of those, if you want to kind of mix up your compliment game for the artist you really like, you'll impress them if you say those things. Like saying this is so original or something, like that's really nice. Like someone's gonna light up if you say, oh my god, that's so original. In your head you could think, oh yeah, that reminds me of this. But man, I tell you, the minute you tell an artist something is original, or you know you believe it to be, they'll love you. People are gonna assume a lot about your art, Sketch. That was another thing I had to learn in the past. I think I learned it 2 years ago. I lived in a house with other artists, and they were very spectrum. Sorry, not on the spectrum, but Spectrum Art, Spectrum Fantastic Art Live, that whole community, you know, that level of art, that fine art. And I spent a lot of that time feeling very inadequate because my art didn't even go to that. Not only did it not go to that level, I didn't want it to. I didn't want to be fine art, you know? And it took me a long time to be like, that's okay. Not every artist is a fine artist. There's commercial artists. There's, you know, just art that's cute. Or look at Instagram. Look at the breadth of style on Instagram. That's not all fine art, but it's loved, right? There's so many things you can do. So why try to be something you're not? This whole argument about just doing what you want to do because that's what you want to do, right? It's the whole if you build it, they will come thing. If you make your style, put it out there, you'll get the people that actually enjoy it coming to you, you know? I'm gonna do this bell real quick. I have a very strong urge to do this bell right now. So I'm just gonna render this. Yeah, and they're gonna assume a lot of things. Like I said, the assuming that I can't do digital work because I'm doing traditional. It's like, you do not know I spent so much of my life dedicated to digital that this is me finally breaking away from it, you know? And you're just going to get those people. And the only way I've found that's good to meet that assuming nature and all that is just have it run off you. I mean, what can you do? Just, you know, you can't fight it. That's what someone thinks. They don't know you. Do you have the time to tell them who you are? No. That's okay. If they keep coming back, they'll learn who you are. If they don't, it doesn't matter. You know? You gotta pick your battles. And that is hard. And I've been fighting this whole thing where I just want to draw really adorable things. And some people that I know have thought of it as baby art or something. And it's like, you know what? F you. That's what I want to do. And if that's what you want to do, you can be successful doing anything you want to do as long as you, like, you take it seriously and you dig your heels into it and you make it your thing. But you have to have the balls to actually dig your heels into it, you know? But you can make it work. Think of all the other businesses in the world and all the other things people have made work because they've just kept going at it. So keep going at it. You can make it work. Cute is good. See? And you're my people. You get it. No, no Mandalorian. Go away. Too many. Now I'm just getting ad after ad after ad. Let me see if I can just find rain sounds or something. Or ambient. Oh. I'm gonna go hunt some tabletop stuff. Holy loud. Sorry. You know what? This is gonna be loud for a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna turn it down. Don't worry. Don't freak out. There you go. Okay. Dude, people love cute. Look at anime! Anime is what it is because it's cute, you know? Like, anything can survive. There is an audience for everything. Literally everything. So, whenever you feel like nobody's gonna like your stuff, reassure yourself that there's something for everybody. Oh, that's still loud, isn't it? How's that? Is that better? I mean, Tim Burton built his career off that sketch, so yeah, I think that's a thing for sure. I mean, there's some people who think that there's good art and there's bad art, and it's like, no, dude, there's art that people like, and that's it, you know? I mean, somebody that really likes cute art may not like fine art, you know? And I respect fine artists, but I don't want to be them. You know, I don't know, I don't really want any part of that. I mean, granted, I've already kind of made my bed with the fact I use markers. Markers aren't seen as a fine art medium. I use pastels too, but that's in conjunction with the markers. We're gonna go back to getting this out here. There you go, sketch. Yeah, I mean, that's why it's really weird when you get people who are like, your art's not that good. You respond with, no, it's just not for you. And then their brain will explode. Because they'll, you know, maybe they'll realize then, oh, wow, look at the big brain on Brad, you know? Like, there's some people, though, that want that institution of, you know, only good art to be out there so that they can have a part of it. You know, they can be the big art guy. It's like, that's the only reason you want that there, because you want to be the guy. Well, there's 1,000,005 sections where you could be the guy then. You know? Like, it's not just one thing of art. Because that's the other thing. If you think Spectrum is like the epitome of art, it's not. There's so many other ways you can get your art out there, be like, you know, an artist. Like, there's even other Spectrum like galleries. Like, I mean, Lightbox is becoming more of a show. Deluxecon was a thing. Like, there's so many more things out there. For some reason, Spectrum was just one of the ones that was more easily obtainable, I guess. Like, people saw that more often than the other ones. I don't exactly even know how that all came about. Yeah, Sketch just be like, it's not for you then. Am I off screen? I'm off screen. Sorry. I mean, the fact that we even put art on a pedestal, you know, like, do the art, get it out, and move on. You know, fuck pedestals. Do it and keep going. Make the thing, keep going. You know? And I don't know what being educated in, like you said, uneducated, naive artists, like, what does that mean? Like, what's, you know, why is that bad? Why does being uneducated or naive make you a bad artist? Man, none of that applies. You're the artist you are. Just do what you like. I feel like you're only failing as an artist if you're not making the art you want to make. Like, that's the true failure, you know? You're either not making the art you want to make or you're not making art at all and you want to. If you're making art and you think it sucks, dude, at least you're making art, you know? Justin Sketch, thank you for the follow. Welcome. And I think a lot of the time, especially Americans, we have a big problem with this. The idea of failure is so fucked up. Like, failure isn't a bad thing. I mean, you have to redefine what failure even is. Failure is not what, you know, people think it to be. Another Sketch, I'm being replaced. But this is Jess. I can call him Jess. I don't think we have a Jess yet. Jess and Sketch. I'm gonna have to start calling y'all by, like, your full names. I think I've been calling you Z-Sketch for a while, though. Or just Sketch. We used to have the original Sketch was Sketch Cloud. He hasn't been in here for a while. It's funny, I remember a lot of our original regulars. It's amazing how things, like, have turnaround. Wait, do you remember a lot of your original, like, people who started on your stream? Like, your regulars, your original regulars? Is it weird I remember a lot of mine, or do you remember a lot of yours, too? No, no one's being replaced. You're becoming a crew. A Sketch crew. Yeah. I mean, mean, and everybody has their own definition of success, you know? Like, don't forget, just having money, a car, a hot spouse or whatever, that's not, like, success for everyone. That's success for what, like, the mainstream has made it, or, like, you know, it's, everybody's just got their idea of what success is. It's like relaxation. Let's liken it to that. Success being different to everybody is how different people like to relax. Like, let's say the big house, nice car, family, all that junk, that success is the equivalent to laying in a bathtub with a book and candles to relax. That's not how I relax. I hate that. That's not relaxing to me. And neither is the success what I think success is either. That person's probably pretty hollow too. Like, they're not happy. In fact, I bet they got that success thinking that was the success they wanted instead of actually seeing what made them happy. But, like, for me, my idea of relaxing is, like, drawing or writing in a papasan, like, encompassed in blankets with, you know, like, a coffee. And, like, I like dry, soft, like, coziness. That's my relaxing. I don't like being wet and naked in a bowl. That's not relaxing to me. I don't know. Well, Serenity is officially the longest regular I have. She's been here since the beginning. Maybe even like one of the first couple streams. Are we becoming a sketchbook? Yeah, isn't it fun, Wade? Like, you see old friends? A lot of the time, I've noticed the ones that came here originally, they ended up doing their own art thing and kind of leaving, and they have their own streams or something, and that's pretty cool in its own way. It's like you almost feel like you helped them in some way. You know, I don't want to assume I did or anything, but it kind of feels like that. You know, they're doing their own art thing now, and it's, you know, it's like a friend went off to college or something. I don't know. That's a weird thing to put an analogy to, but... Oh, bye, Fire Seal! Everybody give Fire Seal a follow on Instagram. He has these awesome stickers he just released. They are so cute. Wet and naked in a bowl. Right? I mean, what is a bath? You're wet and naked in a bowl. You're soup. You are soup. You are in your own broth. Soup. I don't want to be soup. I want to be a bowl of chips or something, you know? Or what's a bowl of, like, soft pasta? I'll be soft pasta in my bowl of blankets, you know? I don't want to be soup. Oh, Cavendish, you're probably eating this up. All these puns, too. Oh, really, Sketch? Yeah, I gotta admit, out of all my socials, I give Tumblr the least love, just because, I'll be honest, I can't work the damn platform. I'm really bad at it. Like, I hate that I have to respond to someone by posting a post to respond to their response to one of my posts. It's weird. I don't know. See, I probably even say that wrong. I don't get Tumblr. I've tried. Muffins! Muffins is one of those ones? Muffins! Oh, how are you, Muffins? You never thought of baths that way? Yeah, I don't know. I was just saying it and it kind of came out. It's soup. You're soup. Do you sometimes wonder what happened to your first regulars until they don't show up anymore? I do. Actually, there's 2 people I've thought about recently, and I worry about them. Like, I'm more worried about if they're okay and where they went. Because a lot of the time you'll get people that come onto Twitch, and then, you know, you'll find them on Instagram too, and, you know, they'll follow you, and then they kind of disappear, and I do worry. Like, I have this problem where I remember a lot of random shit and not necessarily the more important stuff. I don't know. I can remember a lot of weird things, though. Like, I would be dope on Jeopardy. But one of the weird things is, like, people. I remember people. I remember presences. And I feel like, and I think this is because I grew up on the internet and being, like, raised by the internet when there were chat rooms and we had instant messenger and how cool all that was when it first showed up and not like it had been around forever. And so I feel like a lot of that, you know, remained in me, so I was able to remember people by how they would, you know, conduct themselves in instant messaging and online and stuff like that. And you remember people, you know, and I still remember people even back then. I remember people in here, and I worry about them. But it's like, I don't want to be that weirdo and reach out to them, you know? And in some cases, I don't even know how anymore. Maybe they've changed their screen name or their tag. I don't know. Screen name. How old are you? Muffins, we were talking about people that, like, kind of were, like, regulars for a while, and then we don't see them very much. And don't take that as a diss. That's definitely not a diss. But it's like we remember them, you know? It's like, I remember Muffins, you know? And especially if they have a fun, you know, screen name. Then it's fun. Because it's easier to remember them. But yeah, there's a couple I remember, and I think of them, and I'm like, man, I hope they're okay. I don't know where they are. I haven't seen them, seen art, nothing. A Microsoft Paint Christmas sweater, cute. Oh, blessed journey, June. I'm so glad we made that damn thing. I'm sure they do, Serenity. I'm sure they do. I'm more curious too. Like, a lot of my, this is gonna be weird, but I know a lot of my exes that used to be really internet heavy, like, they're not on the internet anymore. And I don't want to blame myself for that, but maybe it's my fault. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're afraid to go on the internet and see me again or something. I don't know. I just know I've never seen them again on the internet. And they used to be really internet heavy. Maybe some people just don't internet anymore. I mean, props to them. I wish I could do that. Well, it's part of your job. It's kind of tough. And it's weird. I'm entering that part in life where I really don't understand some things that are starting to happen. Like, I try to be in the know and stay on the cutting edge of crap, but, like, I don't know how to use yeet. I don't know why people are saying finna instead of gonna. Like, gonna seems so much easier to say than finna. Like, I don't get that. Like, I don't know. There's so many of these new things to say that I just don't understand how they're better to use. Or even, you know, like, it doesn't make sense to me. No, Muffins, I didn't mean it like that. No, I didn't mean it like that. In Arizona, yay! Oh, that's great. I hope you like your new place. Sketch, you should post it in Discord. Put it in the miscellaneous area. I'd love to see it. Right, Benjamin? Yeah, and it's like, I don't know if they're streaming because of me. And I'd rather not assume they are. Just because I don't think my ego needs that. But, you know, I think it's cool if I had a part in them thinking, hey, maybe I could stream. That's cool. You know, and I don't know how long I'll be streaming either. You know, you remember everything is temporary, so you really take into account, you know, these friendships you make on here. Not everybody's going to be around here all the time. You know, they might move on to a different platform or change their name and move to something else. Who knows? Everything's impermanent, right? So, just taking in the moment is nice. I don't know what the kids are saying, yeah. The tea eating. By Wade. Yeah, like yeet. From what I understand, if I have to guess what yeet means, it just means to throw something. Like every time I've seen it, like somebody's, I'd yeet them out that window. And I'm like, why not just say throw? I thought it meant exciting or something originally, and then I kept seeing it used. I'm like, maybe it means throw. I don't know. Yes, Cavendish. Absolutely, Benjamin. Whatever their dreams are, too, because I think the most important thing is to always realize people dream different things, people want different things. Success is different to different people. And, you know, trying to just come at every situation knowing that this person may not think what you think about certain things, and to respect that, you know, when you, and I've learned this when talking to people about, you know, art and things. I used to do mentorships like a couple years ago before I got too busy. And I'm not trying to say that like, I'm too busy, everybody wants me. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I got busy. But I was doing mentorships for a while, and the first thing I'd ask is just, you know, what do you want out of your art career? You know, what do you want out of your art? And I feel like that's one of the best questions you can ask someone, because that's really gonna define, you know, what success means to them in the ultimate sense eventually. Like what they want to, you know, excel to. And it's important to just have a goal to shoot for, you know. Like, my want is not necessarily to be famous or anything like that. I think fame would be very hard to manage. But I just want it where my characters and books can make a difference for someone, if even just for a minute. You know, if they can... God, what did I had written it down for someone recently. And I had said something to the effect of, like, you know, just changing their day for a minute would mean a lot to me through a story I've told or, you know, a picture I've made. But when you have such small reach, it's really hard to do that. Granted, I mean, I'm happy with anybody who gets that sort of reaction from my stuff. So that's why I'm okay if, like, if I never blow up or whatever, that's fine. As long as I'm still doing my stories, that's fine. And I'll sell them small scale like I am now, you know. And I'm just going to start, since I can't do conventions anymore, I'm just going to take my books and make them digital for the most part and just have them that way. Because otherwise they're just not getting read. And that isn't that the biggest tragedy of a story? It's just not being told. So, I mean, get them out. If you got stories, tell them. Because I've been thinking too, like, it's funny, in that respect. Like, I had always been really sad with dog toys whenever it was a plushie and it was getting torn up by the dog. And I'm like, you know, I had to kind of think about it differently. Because my plushies, I love my plushies, you know, and I don't want to hurt them or anything. And I was really afraid that my dogs would see my plushies as, you know, chew toys. But they've been very good about, they've never taken one of my plushies. But I felt bad for the dog plushies. And then I was like, what is success to this dog plushie? Is it not getting destroyed, or is it just getting ultimately messed up and just destroyed. Like, isn't that what they were made for? Isn't that their view of success? So maybe this plushie is happiest when it's being squeaked and getting destroyed and all that stuff. So like, my plushies, they want to get hugged. Those are their versions of success, you know? Yeah, I think these things. It's okay. It's all right. So I had to, like, you know, reevaluate how I was thinking about stuff. Titus, Deletus. Oh yeah, Serenity, just know that the people who are here in the kids speak don't understand the kids speak. Jotun. Man, I can't even, I don't know. I think the thing is not that I'm reluctant to do it because I don't understand it. It's more like, even if I understand it, am I going to want to use that word? No. Because I would just say something else that I would say. You know? Oh, yeah, sketch. I feel you. Well, you can always get things typically for cheaper from artists if you just get the scan. You know? A glorious end. Yeah, to Valhalla, right? Throw my plushies out. They got to be destroyed. Oh no. As long as you hold the plushies that are meant to be held, they're gonna feel good. The plushies that were on the toy store shelf, those are the saddest plushies. Think about it, you know? Exactly, Cavendish. Perspective, right? It's all about perspective all the time. You're not local though, Sketch. You're across the sea. You're our what is it called? You're our international representative. Except you're closer to the motherland in that sense. Nobu, thank you for the follow. No boop? Maybe it's no boop. No boop, Amy. No boop. I'm guessing it's the no boop. Hi. Alright, I'm still trying to figure out. I think I do want the background really dark. I do. I think it'll get lighter down here, maybe? That would be cool. Because I want it dark around the candle so the candle is more prominent. So maybe I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be scary. Here comes the dark color. So it would be darkest around here. Here we go. So I don't know, I think about the Hermit and the lantern thing, and with that I think, you know, they would be out during the night. I don't know why. Hermits seem like night people to me. Probably because they don't conform to daytime working schedules, right? Sure. That seems good. Just a reminder, if anybody here is alone Christmas Day, we will be having a fun special stream. Me and my partner Gabe will be dual streaming art. So if you don't like my art, maybe you'll like his art. And we'll be doing quick draw commissions, we call them. We call them quick draws because they're pretty quick compared to a regular commission. You know, regular commissions take a good deal longer. So the quick draws, at least, you get to see it happen live. We get to ask you questions. It's a fun, interactive thing. I feel like everybody always has a good time. They're pretty fun. For us and otherwise, I believe. Jeez, this song's scary. So that information is at the bottom there. If you want to follow me on socials or on our Discord, you can also get info that way. It's always a good time. I feel like typically people are more alone on Christmas Day than Christmas Eve. At least Christmas Eve I remember working a lot. But Christmas Day we got paid more, which is funny because I feel like, I don't know, Christmas Eve was more the time. See, already I'm proud of myself for going this dark, because I don't usually go this dark. So, remember how I said I had a problem with contrast? Well, here we are. The only way to fix something is to attempt to fix it, right? It's always scary about markers, because when you're using them, sometimes they look like they're gonna have streaks. Sometimes they do if it's running out. But a lot of the time it'll end up fixing itself as they bleed together. And speaking of bleeding together, I should really be using a blot sheet, which I had forgotten. Amy is fine as well. Good. I will try. Thank you, Jess. Thank you. Oh, bless you. I'm glad you enjoy it. Some people are here just to yell at me. No, I don't know. I'm just happy when people enjoy it. I enjoy making it, so just, you know, going back down to the bare bones of if you enjoy making it and other people enjoy seeing it, cool, right? Yes, a real elf indeed. It's really cute at conventions. I kind of miss interacting with the kids, because sometimes they'll come up, they're like, "Are you a real elf?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, why? Do I not look real?" And they'll be like, "No, you do. Can I get ears like that?" And I'll be like, "If you just tug on your ears a little bit every day for a couple years, they'll be this long too. Don't do it too hard though. You'll pull them right off." I don't know. I think because I don't actually want kids of my own, I tend to have fun with other people's kids. I don't know. That might be part of it. I'd be a really good aunt. I don't think I'd be a very good mother. But as an aunt, I would be hella fun. But yeah, I liked messing with kids at conventions. That was fun. Because I'd be dressed up like this with the whole, you know, dress and everything. Beemir. Hi. Welcome. Oh. Happy Saturday, Esling. How are you doing? That's true, Serenity. I remember that. I don't know what that was about. Hot dinner plate? Thank you so much. This part is going to be a little bit wonky, I think. I'm going to have to mix this in. Sometimes it doesn't want to mix. That's when you fix it in post. Anyone that says no to that's a bad person. Good-natured lying to kids. Yeah, that is the best part of kids. Oh, cute sketch. I am not Zelda, no. Though, in my early days, I was inspired by Zelda. When I was 13, I played Ocarina of Time. But no, I am Cloverkin. I am a different kind of elf. Hi, Sophia. Sophia's another one of those that's been here forever. How you doing? Just finished your Secret Santa drawing. Hey, yeah! Those that are in my Discord, don't forget. You've got a Secret Santa too, those that signed up. Don't forget to work on it. It's important. Oh, I saw that Triceratops sketch. That was so cute. Oh my god, it was so plump. I do dress up on every stream though as an elf, which makes it really weird on Halloween. Because on Halloween I feel like it's a little bit different. So usually I dress up as something other than an elf, but I don't apply it to the elf self. So who am I then? I am a shapeshifter. But this is the Hermit tarot card I'm working on currently. This was another one I decided to keep a lot of the original imagery intact. At least the things that seem like they made the most sense. Like the lantern aspect, the staff, the old man, or woman, whichever. Whatever you see this turtle as, that's up to you. That's between you and your god. And on a mountaintop or cliff. Some of these I've kept to the lore, I guess, and some I haven't. Which would drive me nuts back. Like, if I had told myself I was doing this maybe 3 years ago, I would have lost my shit at myself. I would have been like, why? Why? You're establishing a formula, aren't you? Yeah, kinda. Like, I'm kinda just doing what I want. The marker always looks bad when you put it down, but it eventually kind of fixes itself. Marker's funny like that. It's almost like watercolor, actually. Oh, Serenity, yeah. Drink lots of fluids, homie. Stay good. We love you. She does. Sophia helped me a lot with when I started streaming. Like, her help and a lot of what she told me was how I grew to be the streamer I am today. She told me a lot of how Twitch worked and stuff. Sophia, I got my first hype train today. I didn't even know what that was. I also really enjoy giving credit where it's due, and I think people enjoy that too. So, like, you know, if you know you've got to give credit where it's due, do it. It'll make you feel good because you're not being selfish about it, and it'll make the person feel good because you're acknowledging what they've done for you. Never makes you look weak in my mind. Giving credit to people always just makes you look stronger. And more selfless, honestly. I know someone that has never given me credit for always helping them, and granted I stopped helping them, but man, like, does it really kill you? You know, acknowledgement's important. Especially if you've really helped someone. Come on. So, a hype train, from what I have experienced this day, is when people start kind of showering you with bits and subs and things, and a little thing comes up on the screen, and there's a timer, and you're supposed to get to the next level of hype, and people just keep piling all this stuff on, and then it reaches the next level, and then there's a countdown until that one, like, expires, and then you're supposed to do it again. I got to level 5. It's awesome. First hype train. That was so dope. So thank you, everybody. Again, those that were here for it, thank you so much. That was so cool. I really appreciate it. I know this looks super dirty right now, me going outside of the crop lines and whatnot, but this ends up being scanned and, you know, cropped better, and then get rid of all the smudges and things. I'm actually surprised this ended up this messy here. I'll try to blend it better. The biggest joke to me lately is the Copic blender. That thing is such a useless piece of like, I can't use that thing. Like, Gabe and I have tried using it, and all it doesn't even blend your colors very well. It's useless. It makes walls. It's bad. I don't know how anybody uses it. If you can use it, awesome. You have my, like, respect, because I cannot use that damn thing. Oh, Sketch knows all the ins and out of it. Oh, Sophia's got the definition. Is that bit under the hand sky? What? Sketch, what? Is that bit under the hand sky? Oh, down here. Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you. I thought you were speaking some kind of code. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Yes, thank you. I am notorious for that as well. For getting a whole chunk of a piece. Yeah. I even do that with commissions. It's bad. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't look like the leg. I'm gonna have to make the leg look a little different. Do enjoy some code. It did look like code to me. I'm like, what does that mean? All right. Let's see. And then a lot of this that I know is close to the candle, I can just go in and rub it with the pastel and blend it this way. This is how I blend a lot of my marker, is I'll use pastels with it. The trick with pastels and why they're so difficult to use is you usually need to build them up a good bit, because they typically blend upon themselves. They don't blend into the paper really normally. Like, to do a good pastel blend, you have to usually have it blended on itself, which sounds a little crazy, but when you're doing a full pastel piece, you need to build up pastels, similar to paint. Because like a lot of the time, you're not just trying to blend the paint into the paper color, right? You're trying to blend the paint with the paint. Very similar with pastels. Very, very similar. Also, my camera's set to be a little bit more contrasted than it is, so. Oh, you'll get it, Sketch. I'm sure you'll get it. You'll get it someday. Maybe today's just not the day for that. You know, I think that's an important point too, actually. Thank you for bringing something like that up, Sketch. It reminded me of something else. If you're an artist, and regardless if you're beginning or later in your career or what have you, if you... Oh, I got a new message. If you're drawing or doing whatever that day and you're not having a good time with it and it's not going how you want it to go, just switch what you're doing that day. Just because you suck at something one day doesn't mean you suck at it entirely. Okay, you can have bad days. You can absolutely have bad days. I've reached the point now with accepting that I have art moods and stuff, and you know, I'm better at pencils one day and I'm better at rendering one day. When you realize this kind of thing, you know, once you start doing it, I usually give myself like half an hour to an hour of doing something, and I'm like, okay, This is not clicking. Since this is not clicking, I'm going to try this again another time. I have something else I can switch to. And then you switch gears, you know. So since I have so much I can work on at any given time, you know, I can switch to something else for that moment that I'll probably be more, you know, good at doing at that time. Because sometimes you just don't want to do pencils. Sometimes you don't want to color. Sometimes, you know, it's just not that day. And that's okay. You may not even know why it's not that day. Doesn't matter. Just know it might be better left for another day. And not to get down on yourself and be like, oh, I'm a crappy artist. I suck at this so much. It's like, no. You're having an off day. Those happen. That's natural. That's okay. If it happens more than one day, you might actually have to look at, like, well, what's going on in my life that might be keeping me from being able to do this thing? And a lot of the time it's some, like, external factor you don't have any control over. Like a pandemic. Stuff like that. So, you know, try not to beat yourself up about it. Try to just understand that, you know, it might be better suited for another time. And that is okay. Even when you're on a deadline, sometimes you can do that. Like, start it early in the day. Maybe your brain just needs time to, you know, warm up to it. If it doesn't work then, be like, all right, I'm going to revisit this in a couple hours, see where we're at. Revisit it later. You too, Amy. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Sophira. Thank you. I got a new art cam so that my old art cam became my face cam. That's also part of leveling up, you guys. Remember I was talking about that? Sorry, you all. It's like, you know, our other cameras too. We originally started off with really kind of subpar cameras. They're good and they were affordable at the time. And then once we were able to afford and get better cameras, then, you know, then the old cameras became other cameras, and then you just kind of keep leveling them up, you know. And that way it's just your stuff is always kind of leveling up, and you know how to use it then and how to appreciate it. So thank you, Sophia. I appreciate your noticing. The only crappy thing is, once I upgraded my face cam, I needed to do a better job on my makeup. Because for a while I was like, and I just did this because it's like, I don't know, for a while I was doing almost theater level makeup because the camera was so bad, it basically blended all my features together. And I have very light features. So I had to darken in my lips, darken in my eyebrows, and all that stuff so you could at least see my face, right? Now, the first couple streams I did with this new camera, I had to learn the hard way to pull back on the makeup a bit because I was still doing the heavy makeup, and I realized, oh, people can see more now. Cool. So for a little bit, I had a little bit too much on, but that's another part of streaming. Knowing you're gonna get, you know, fatter, thinner, all this stuff, change your looks throughout time. It's just what happens. Like, as long as, you know, you're okay with it on the stream. It's hard, though, because sometimes you don't want to be on stream. And, like, maybe I won't be once in a while, but I've usually got a pretty good reason why. Typically, it's that I've got a wound on my face of some kind and I don't want to put makeup on it. That'd probably be like 6 out of 10 times. Or maybe I have allergies and I have to keep rubbing my nose and that looks stupid on the camera. Stuff like that. Yeah, both Sophia and Muffins popped up. That is really weird. I'm gonna sharpen this, so I'm gonna mute my mic so you don't hear it. It's really loud. Damn wood. Damn wood. Well, I'm still glad you showed up, Sophia. I did. I manifested them. I believe in that. Your ears are burning. Think of how mine feel. I also started like clipping my ears on using this other kind of ear stuff instead of gluing them on. After so long of wearing ears that are put on by spirit gum, the spirit gum, after a while, started pulling out my hair. So I started going bald here. So I decided, hey, I should figure out a way to clip these on. So I did. I figured out a way. And it's been going okay. But I feel like at some point my ears could fall off. That's the only problem. But we'll see. If it does happen, it'll be really funny. And it'll be recorded. And that's okay. I remember there was another time I tried using clip-on lashes for my streams because I was like, man, I don't want to keep putting on mascara. It's so much trouble. So I was like, oh, I'll just put on, fake lashes. No. Not worth it. It looked terrible. No. No. It's more funny than anything, honestly. If you were here for that, it was funny. There's been a lot of trial and error over the years with my streams, I think. Lots of people have come and gone. There have been a lot of funny learning curves I've went over. I think the thing that's changed the least has honestly been my overlay. I recently upgraded this to be better, but before that I had the same one. I've only had 3. If I think about the themes, I've only had 3 in 4 years, so. Oh, do it, Sketch. Do whatever makes you happy. Yeah, you got it. So now, it's actually, and it was just that I didn't have time enough to do that, so I was like, it's been 2 years, I should really update my overlay, especially because I was in games, so I'm all like, hey, my UI is crap, I should really fix it. So I finally guilted myself into doing that probably a month or 2 ago, a couple months. Shoot, that was a while ago at this point. But Sophia, we're still doing those special streams, you remember those? Like the holiday streams? We haven't stopped doing them. I think they slowed down for a bit, but we haven't fully stopped. Trying to figure out where I want these shadows to go. Oh, my hair keeps coming up in bunches of places. So this is the 4th tarot card in the set I've done. 5 total cards if you count the card back. So I think I'm getting close to the point of doing the first batch of the bookmarks. So that'll probably be happening in the beginning of January. I'm gonna put these together and get those made. The nice thing is I can make them completely here at home because I have all of the things I can, I use to do it. So that's super nice. Oh yeah, I hear you, Sketch. Yeah, Sophia, you remember. We're gonna do it again this year. The only difference is now, since we've got like a little recording studio. I don't know what constitutes a studio, but it's a designated space for recording. So now I'm downstairs. We have a better mic and lighting setup. There's no windows, so there's no changing of the light source, which was a big problem upstairs. There were tons of windows, and it was a vaulted ceiling, which is like the worst thing in the world for when you're recording audio for something. So it's a lot better now, which is good. But yeah, the difference is Gabe's gonna be upstairs now, and technically we go over the internet. So he streams from a random Twitch account his art, and then I capture that, and I forgot how we did his face. I can't remember now. But we had it where it was completely over the internet, and it made it so I could actually dual stream with other people across the internet too. And it's pretty easy. It's through Discord and Twitch. So it's a nice way to do it. It's not that hard either, if you're already like used to how to stream it. I just can't remember how I was capturing his face. Might have been on a Google call or something. Yeah, I can't remember now. Oh no, it was video chat in Discord. That's what it was. I got his face in video chat and his art from a Twitch stream he would stream. Yeah. Potentially more fun this New Year's. Usually we're next to each other physically, but since we can't be this time, due to that. Alright, I think he's basically done. There's a couple hot spots I think would be there. Hey, there you go. That's a good plan. We're doing it again first before New Year's Eve on Christmas Day. So that's the next one. And I've got a form you can fill out now. Oh man, so professional. It just makes it easier instead of having a command and having to tell everybody everything a million times. So now it's a 2-step process. Pretty slick. So that'll be fun. We really enjoy doing those. They're a lot of fun for us. What do you guys think? Should there be stars in the background? Should I do stars? Or should I try it digitally later and see if I like it instead of hardwiring it in? Yeah, hardwiring. I'm that guy. Oh, cool, Saphira. Well, that's a happy thing. So, it's true. My schedule is typically Saturdays at 5 p.m. But the next 2 weeks, because it's Christmas and New Year's, it's going to be on Friday this coming week and then Thursday the next week. So, the 25th and the 31st. Then the week after that one, it's back to regularly scheduled Saturdays. Because the next 2 streams are special streams, and I only have time to stream once a week now. I hope next year I can free that up and stream more again, because I did really like it when we were streaming a lot. Sophia was around when we were streaming, like, a lot. Then we pulled back quite a bit, because it was a little too much at the time. Yep, just 1 day a week. See, you remember. Used to be a lot more. I'd like to build back up to being more, but do what you can. I also enjoyed starting to do pieces that I could start and finish on stream, because I thought people would enjoy that more. It seems to. Because otherwise, you know, when I was doing other pieces that were a little bit more time consuming and bigger, kind of sucked, because, you know, you wouldn't get to see the whole thing. You'd just see me doing one little part of it. And it's like, that's not fun. It's not entertaining, right? Birds. I haven't heard birds in a while. I'm actually excited for spring now, because I want to hear birds again. Plus, this isn't much of a winter to me. Like, we don't even have snow. We're in Illinois. We don't have any snow. What's going on? I'm used to snow. I'm a Minnesota girl. Where's my snow? Sad, man. I wonder if we'll even get snow for Christmas. Oh, I'm glad you got in the groove again, Saphira. It's important. That's true, you're right. It doesn't have to be entertaining. And I mean, if I want to stream more often, I'll probably have to do that, and also not have my cam on as much, because I don't want to put on makeup all the time. I think maybe 1 day a week I'll treat as like, woo, this is the day. But other days I'll just be like, I'm just working. Show up if you want. Oh, Cavendish. I'm a snow whore. I love snow. Oh, snow slut. I like snow slut. I like the word slut. I don't know why it's a fun word to say. I'll take it. I'll take it. I was up in Minnesota for most of my life, so we got the Canadian-like snow, so I'm used to that. Give it to me. It always bothered me in movies. You'd see that, like, oh, Chicago got this much snow. And I'm like, really? I'm up in Minnesota. I get a ton of snow. And I'm like, cool, so they get snow too. I moved to the Chicago area. Where the fuck is my snow? No snow. I wanted it to be lighter down here. I'm probably gonna have to add this pretty hardcore digitally, because I didn't do it light enough with my markers, but I'll at least try it right now. Let's see if I can get it a little bit lighter. Because I want to go dark to light, but oh yeah, that kind of worked. A little bit. You can see the graininess way more in the camera than you can in person. In person it's a lot softer, which is really funny. If you could do anything with your time right now, like bulk style, if you could take a week and just do one thing, what would it be? Rewrite your novel, transcontinental sleeper train across Canada for the holidays. Ooh, Cricken's good one. Sock yarn. Is sock yarn different? Sophia, are you talking to me or Sketch? So at this point I have no idea what you're referring to if it's me. What would I do? People are, like what I would do? Oh, it's then. Oh. What would I do? I mean, I would just work on my stories. It's the only thing I've been waiting to do for years. And what really sucks about it is you need a good run at it, like a giant chunk of time. That's what I'd do. I've got 3 stories that are just burning me alive. They're written, they just need to be drawn. And you just need time. So I got if I can get my Patreon to a point where it's sustaining me a bit better on its own, though Patreon is definitely a scary source of income because it can fluctuate rapidly between months, especially during a pandemic, which you can't blame anybody for that. You just can't. Self-striping, rainbow sock yarn, give me all the stripes. Ooh, self-striping. Oh yeah, self-striping, like it's got built-in color changing. One of those. That's cool. Yeah, I think for me it would be that, or to just do all the things I've been waiting for a giant chunk of time to do, which is basically my stories, but also I need to rearrange our shipping room and clean it. It's just been what it is forever. It's just, there's so many little things. But yeah, a lot of things that probably aren't fun to even say out loud, like just kind of household junk. It would depend on the season too. Like if it were a warmer season, I'd probably say like be outside somewhere doing something like a lot more. Like I've been waiting for good weather to build this bench table thing outside. I bought all the stuff for it, But like I told you, I don't have any time, so I wasn't able to actually build it last year. But I just wanted a little bench, and I bought a table so that I could just sit outside and draw. And I didn't have the time to do that. And then it was like 90 degrees for 3 months straight. So it was like I couldn't even be outside because it sucked. So I guess it was good I didn't build the table, because it just would have sat there unused for all summer, because summer was balls. I just hope next year it's not as hot. Oh, that's cool. Does that mean, though, that if they have all sorts of patterns built in, that you have to do a certain number of knits or whatever until, you know, because then it could screw up the pattern, right? You need an umbrella. I do have an umbrella. We bought it's like a gazebo thing. It's like a thing, but it's still hot out. Gabe and I cannot do heat. Like, that's why we like living in more north areas, but we can't do heat of any kind. Like dry heat, wet heat, whatever. We hate heat. So I'm not going to be underneath a thing even if it's 90 out. It's like, no way. No. Just forgot what I was going to do. So, Sophia, if you can't do snow, I cannot do heat. That's my thing. That's so cool. I love learning about other hobbies and things. I think he's good for now. There's a bunch of little things to do, and there's like, you know, little things to fix, stuff I'm gonna do digitally, all that kind of crap. But I think for the moment, he might be pretty good to go. So if anybody has any last things they want to talk about, now's a good time to ask or bring them up. The next time I'll see you, it'll be the special stream on Christmas Day, and I'll have Gabe with me, and hopefully we'll be on time and won't have any technical BS happen. Lots of water, yeah. Yep, it's true, Sophia. Can't take off your skin. Oh, sock yarn. It's true, Cavendish. I grew up in the part of Minnesota that's like literally the 10,000 Lakes part. And it's fucking gorgeous. It's one of those, you ever have one of those areas in your memory that you know, if it was that part in the movie where you're dying, you kind of see yourself revisiting that area? For me, that's that area, because there's this part of where I grew up where it's like this strip of road that winds like crazy, and on your left side is just water, tons and tons of water, and everything is so lush green because there's so much water, and it's like perfect temperature a lot of the time. you know, in the spring and in the fall at least, and a good amount in the summer. Not in the winter, obviously. It gets below zero a lot, but it winds around this water like crazy, and there's this one bridge that every time in my memory I get to it, it's like insane, and it's just engraved in my memory so hard, because I did used to drive it a lot too, coming home from college, coming home from work at various stages in my life, up until my 30s, basically, until I moved out of state. And I think because it was such a part of my, you know, my growing, that I saw it so much, and it was always just so breathtaking. Every time I saw it, I never got used to it, and I was always really appreciative of it. I loved it so much. That's probably my place. It's so weird too, because it was usually only driving. Which I don't care for driving. I mean, driving's whatever. You gotta drive. But that area was just so gorgeous. And I'm kind of a little bit heartbroken because where we are, there's no real close water. I mean, there is, but it's not completely accessible, and it's not really the same. It is really gorgeous, though, in the summer, but I don't know, there's a lot of traffic around it. But yeah, I grew up in a boating community. Like, there are like boat rentals and docks and everything everywhere. I grew up in Mound in Minnesota. So if you ever look up Mound in Google Maps in Minnesota, and you just kind of poke around on the street view, and you know, go to the next town and whatever, you'll see what I mean. It's a really beautiful area. I would move back in a heartbeat if it weren't for the people. I have a lot of people I don't want to see, so I don't really want to move home. But it's still home to me. Maybe someday. Alright, I think we're good. Is there a way to see? No. Oh. Oh, we were zoomed all the way out. Whoops. Okay. Alright, I think we're good. Anybody want to say one last thing? Anything? Sorry, I kind of got on a weird nostalgic tangent there. Anytime I miss home, though, I'm thankful for Google Maps, because I can just kind of go back there for a second and see it. This looks like it's lit from under. That's kind of cool. Kind of into that. Gives it kind of this ethereal thing going on. Alright. Alright, stop. Pencils down. Beepy boopy. So I will see you guys, you all, on the 25th at 6 p.m. So that would have been 3 hours ago, about. In 15 minutes, it'll be 3 hours ago. Let's see what else. We'll be doing the quick draw. I've got an easy way now to actually get one. It's just a form on my website. It's like less than 30 seconds of typing. It'll be good. What else? If you have original characters you want us to draw, have all your refs and stuff kind of put together in one place. That's really helpful. Or draft up an email. Have them in that. Otherwise, I think that's it. So the 25th and the 31st, we're going to be doing these special streams. Saturday streams, not until after the 31st again. So, oh, Sophia, yeah. It was good seeing you. You too, Moofins. I'm glad you were here. Thank you for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the Hermit card come to life. I still got to polish it up digitally, but I think we did alright. I think it's basically what I wanted it to be. So, I'll see you next stream. All right? Be good, take care, be safe. All right? Have a good Christmas. At least until the 25th, and then I'll wish you in person. All right? See you later. Bye.